welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 93. I am the non-toxic defender, Dave Z. Over here, I got my homies,
Christian Luciani
and Grimsby. Yeah. And this is episode 93 from Hell.
Oh, wow.
And you are Dave Z, the ghost host with the most.
Indeed.
I guess I should just use a nickname. I'm the Looch. Everyone's fucking using nicknames and shit.
The Looch. All right. Yeah, we love the Looch. All right.
The Looch.
The Looch. Yeah,
you were in the end of Three from Hell. You were one of those luchadors. The Looch. You were the big guy.
This is the guy, like, right before we started the show. He's like, we better tell everybody what we're doing. Now he's jumping into movies already, talking about them without even setting them up properly.
Oh, this guy yelling at me about jumping into movies. He usually jumps right. Dave just knocked it out of the park. I don't know what he knocked out of the park, but he knocked something out of the park.
I just know he set it up. He set up the thing, and he knocked it out of the park.
No, okay.
He set up the pitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start calling Lucky the Looch. What do you think of that?
You do it.
I'm going to start calling him Looch. Hey, Looch, he can't hear anyway. I can call him anything I wanted to. It wouldn't make a difference, you know?
Aww.
I know, poor baby. But he's got heart and he's feeling better, so that's what it's all about. So speaking of Lucky, I told you guys what happened with the glasses. I've had glasses for a year. I've never had an issue where I broke my glasses. Right? So I told that last show, the situation happened. I raised my head, I hit the freaking side view mirror of the truck, and, you know, I just broke my glasses. You know what it happened. So now I'm on the backup glasses that I have from work, okay? So yesterday, as a matter of fact, I'm working, and I go up, and I'm on the side of a house, and I read a gas meter, and then I have no short-term memory. So I turn around real quick to go to the next house, and I forget that these assholes have a camper in their driveway. So I turn around real quick, boom, and I bash my face right into the freaking camper, and I got freaking, not a crack, but I got these scratches on the glasses here now.
You got to be more careful. And let it be known that Dave does not read gas meters for his work. We don't know what the hell he was doing.
I was spying. Yes.
Looking for, like, meth labs and shit.
Indeed.
He's looking for cats. He's out hunting cats.
Yeah.
Come
Dig
here.
that cat.
You look like a stray. No, I just let him out to get some air.
He's in a crate.
Anyway.
He's in a crate. We're going to the vet. Are you sure he's not a stray? I'll take him.
You just scratched my glasses.
I don't know. You led me astray. What can I tell you?
Oh, my God.
That was a branded joke.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
See, I knew you'd like it. So, yeah, in case you guys didn't know, we're going to be talking about Rob Zombie's Firefly. I can't say that word anymore.
Fire French fries.
Fireflies. I got to say goodbye to my wife. She's going to work.
The Asian edition.
Okay.
Have a good day.
That is
Good
night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
My wife says hello. They say hi, baby.
Hi, baby.
What up, baby?
So, what was I saying? The Firefly Trilogy. Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, and Three from Hell. All three movies. This is requested by our homegirl, Christine, who we love.
Yeah. And also sponsored by McDonald's, who are coming out with Mother Fireflies.
Just a quick show of hands. Has Christine...
Who got something from Christine? Yeah.
You knew where I was going. Who had something in the mail from Christine?
I got the Three from Hell digital code from her, so.
In an email.
I decided I'm gonna stop doing that because I don't want people to take me seriously when I'm messing around. I hope she wasn't.
She's like, I gotta send Brandon something.
I know. I felt
really
so big because I'll beat a joke to death. 4 years from now, I'll still be saying Christine never. Oh, we know.
Awesome.
Oh man.
Did you get that thing? Somebody made a comment about B. Did I send it to you guys the other day when it said something about, you know, okay, did I tell what Adolfo said on the Patreon? He said, great bonus episode, fellas. Thanks for involving us, the Headites, in this. By the way, yes, there are bonus episodes every month on Patreon. So if you're not on there, www.patreon.com/explodingheads. Get on there. $3 for that tier. You get video and audio of a bonus episode. So we had a nice 2-hour anniversary episode, holiday episode last week, and it came out. So this is the comment on that. Anyway, he says, please don't retire anytime soon, by the way. Well, we're not. P.S. I should have added one last question I had. Why does Grimsby feel like he is a heel? To be completely honest, when I first got into the show, he was my favorite host. His humor and charm are so welcoming and drew me to the group. I love you guys equally, and there is not an official Exploding Heads episode without all three of you. Cheers. So there you go, B.
Oh, that's real sweet, actually.
Yeah.
See?
That's really nice. I feel really good now.
See, I'm glad I saved it. I'm glad I saved it to the show to tell you about it. I thought I might have sent it in chat, but I don't remember. So
you gave us a quick snapshot of it, but I think it needed to be said because, yeah, B, you had some love.
I feel
on
love.
YouTube, your solo cast is the most listened to or watched on YouTube.
That's because it's the quickest to listen to. It's 80 hours condensed down to 12 minutes. Nah, I honestly I do feel the love. I'm joking around most of the time. Like I really am. Like pretty much all the time. So I don't want like people to think like I'm I think it was Dave who actually started the heel thing. It was one of the episodes.
You got to turn heel.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was. But I feel like I might turn heel a little bit tonight, but we'll I'm looking forward to this. And thank you, Adolfo. That was nice. And I do love all you guys.
I'm looking forward to
gals.
this too.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to this. I want you guys to
I just want to start with one thing. Brandon and I were pre-gaming. We said we got to stop talking. We were waiting for Dave.
Yeah,
to come
we
on.
were into a review before Dave even got on with us.
Uh-oh.
I enjoyed all three of these.
3 from Hell.
That's it. That's my preface before we get into it. I enjoyed all three, and this is my second time watching 3 from Hell, and I enjoyed it more than the first time.
Nice. Glad to hear it. Okay, so that's a good start. Okay, so yeah, you feel better, B? That's what it's all about.
I do. That was really well written and well said. And
yeah, I'm glad he did that.
Now I feel like a heel because I thought we were over that part.
Well, I can't help it. I'm the non-toxic defender. I'm always going to be the voice for the voiceless. I'm always going to stand up for my friends that may feel slighted or think that they're unloved. I'm big about that, man. If people that I care about, if people that I care about are thinking other things besides what's to me painfully obvious that people, love and respect them, then I want to make sure that they know that shit. And that goes for B, and that goes for other people I know too, that sometimes,
but not
might get down. Well, C never gets down. C is kind of a closed book about.
He's very positive. He's very positive all the time. I know. I'm an emotional wreck all the time.
I'm an emotional wreck too. I just don't let it be publicly known. That's, you know what I mean? That seems to be the thing these days. And I guess maybe if I was in my 20s and there was a Facebook, you would have seen a completely different Dave Z because I was a different cat then.
Cock out the whole time.
He was a different cat. He was a different cat back then.
I was a different cat back then.
He's bringing up the cat. Oh,
yeah.
That's him on Facebook.
I'll never forget the first time Dave brought that up, that he was well endowed.
I can't help it. It's a way of life.
That's awesome. Believe me, there is no hatred here. I am so happy for you. Believe me. I wish I could say the same.
Yeah.
But I noticed there was a period, and Christian will attend to this, for 2 weeks when we talked about it, it got bigger and bigger by each episode. You remember that?
It doesn't get big. I know the exact dimensions. I know the exact dimensions 100%. I've known him for years.
He knows the
never
dimensions.
changed size.
He can solve the volume for his cock.
I know the height and width. I did it years ago, and it hasn't changed. I can tell you that much, thankfully.
We talked about this before, so I'd start measuring from the back of my ass.
I start measuring from the back of the guy's ass who's behind me.
I think that's the exact joke you cracked when we did this way back when. It's like a retro joke episode.
Yeah.
Top of the mops, boys.
Start at the spleen. Start at the spleen.
Yeah, nice.
All
Okay.
right. Do we do it?
Yeah, I think we should do it. Yeah.
All right. So we're obviously going to start with 2003's House of 1,000 Corpses from writer-director Rob Zombie. 2 young couples traveling across the backwoods of Texas searching for urban legends of murder end up as prisoners of a bizarre and sadistic backwater family of serial killers.
Let me ask, do you guys... I know the copyright on the film says 2002. So it was shelved for a little bit or delayed release for a little bit. I swear, maybe it wasn't 2000, but I thought maybe in 2001, I saw a teaser for this in the theater saying, coming soon from Rob Zombie, House of 1,000 Corpses. And I remember people said, oh my God, Christian, did you see that Rob Zombie's directing a horror film? Maybe it was 2002, and then it just got delayed, and in that time frame would have been long enough, I guess. But do you guys remember it being a bit earlier, or?
Yes,
Okay.
100%. It was out earlier. Yeah. I remember
From
in the
what
year
I could
2000.
remember.
In the year 2000.
Okay, that's what I thought.
People had already seen it. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't had access to it, but some people had actually viewed it already.
In 2000.
I was living in Vegas, and then I moved out of Vegas. That's how I know where I was when it happened. And I moved to Vegas after 1999, going into 2000. The whole Y2K, I was still in Buffalo. But I moved to Vegas in the summertime. It was June or August. Either way, and sometime between the summertime and March of 2001, I was reading about it, and people had seen it. Okay, I remember I was on the Fangoria. I'm promoting them. When they're coming back, they're charging you just to be on the website, by the way. But I was on their message boards, and somebody was talking about how they'd seen it, and etc. So now I left Vegas. I moved back to Buffalo, and then I came back to Vegas by 2000. Well, no, because hold on, let me think about this. It was 2002 going on 3. It was the summer, a year and a half later. So I'm back in Vegas. Now I remember specifically the girl that I was seeing at the time and where I was living and the time period I was there. There was 3 movies that I credit for getting me back into horror, and this was one of them. It was Jeepers Creepers, yes, Jeepers Creepers, The Ring, and House of a Thousand Corpses. And right before that, Ginger Snaps got the ball rolling, but that was before that. You know what I mean? That was after 2000. So those were the ones that got me back in. But I remember coming back. I remember the girl that I was dating at the time, and I rented the movie because I remember hearing about it and waiting, what happened to this movie? So it came out, and I rented it. I remember exactly where I was and where I was living. So that was it was definitely like before 2003. So I was there watching the movie, and I remember being really excited and drawing a lot of comparisons to TCM2. I remember that was getting me excited, and seeing Bill Moseley and him saying "bitch hog," and when he wrote the note, and when Mother Pfeiffer wrote the note, "get Grandpa," and then I started thinking about Texas Chainsaw. Yeah. And I remember being in their headline. I remember being really excited watching this movie, going, "Oh wow, this is just like stuff that I love and haven't seen in a long time." And that was just the beginning of my love for the movie. Like I said, that was the first time I saw it. But to answer your question, that was the time period because I knew where I was living. So it says 2003 on the thing.
It says 2003 on IMDb.
On the actual film, it says copyright 2002.
Yeah.
So I assume it was 2002 that we saw these previews, but it feels like it was earlier than that, just based on the fact you have your Vegas story, and I was living in Toronto at the time, and that's where I remember seeing the teaser for it in the theater.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the release date of the.
It says Uruguay got the release of this in October of 2016. That's what it says on release date, Uruguay 2016.
There you go. Of course, August 12th, 2003. That was when the DVD came out. It said.
It says April 11th for 2003 for USA.
USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's only 2 months in. February, March, April. 3 months in. Excuse me, but I mean, there you go. That's barely into 2003. So it had to have come out in the theater before that. So yeah, that makes total sense. It was 2003, and that's when I saw it. And it was in Vegas, so I'm trying to think of the weather, but the weather's always nice there. And I can't think of when I was seeing that girl. Anyway, I'm going too much into all kinds of shit. Bottom line is I better keep quiet now because I love the movie so much. I'll just keep talking about it.
All right. And this is, I wrote to you, Dave, and you see that I had kind of flip-flopped on these because I was always more of a House of a Thousand Corpses fan than a Devil's Rejects fan. This time watching it, I felt like there were a lot of missed opportunities in this film. And I know there's supposedly an extra 20 minutes out there somewhere, even though Rob Zombie says there isn't. But for me, I feel like this underutilizes some great characters, develops some stories for like 2 seconds and then disregards them. And I just couldn't help but see more flaws in this than I have in the past. I still enjoy the things we get, but to me, the best parts of the films are the things we only get for a short period of time. I mean, mainly Captain Spaulding, who's, he's the standout. He's the standout in the first in this first film for me, even though he's only got about 10 minutes of screen time. And he's one of the two. He's one of the two standouts in part 2, which we'll get to with the Devil's Rejects. But
I'm kind of like you, D. Well, sorry, B. Andy, because I was not as high on it as I thought I was going to be this view, but I still really like this film, and the colors in this pop. It looks amazing. Mm-hmm. The callbacks to Texas Chainsaw Massacre may be a little too much, and I think that's where some fans at the time said, like, it's really just his Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I looked at it as a love note. So
it is a love note because it's there in all of them. It's there in Devil's Rejects. Yeah. I mean,
well, it's in the dialogue too. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it almost is more of a love letter to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But with having Bill Moseley in it, and instead of burn her like a rat, run rabbit run, rabbit run.
Look, you get it in all of them. I mean, TCM2 and TCM, and even in Three from Hell, they play Inagata de Vida, or whatever the hell the name of that song is.
Yes, or Inavita de Gata.
Inavita de Gata.
Baby. Iron Butterfly. Yeah, awesome.
So I mean, it's everywhere, but I have no issue with that. I just I love the opening of this movie, and
I have a note for the opening of this movie. But wait, I'll tell you what I didn't like. I do not like, and again, it's not all of it, but his jarring cutaways with the experimental filmmaking. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work, and actually is a detriment to the film. And especially when it goes into the negative mode, I did not like that at all. But I do like some of the characterizations where they'll cut the baby like licking the corpse a little bit. But I think they could have played on that more without the rapid fire editing and close-ups.
Well, that's part of that's part of the cut footage that they say is more necrophilia stuff with baby. That part I don't mind, but when you're watching it this time, and we're talking about a film that runs, less than 90 minutes, it feels almost like filler. And then you question, like, well, why didn't they develop the cops more or the father showing up? It just seemed like...
it's fast-paced, though. That's one thing for sure. There's no question about it. I do like it. I have some questions, but here...
It drags a little for being as short as it is, I think.
Wow. I don't agree with that necessarily, but first 2 minutes, it's pronounced Dr. Wolfenstein? Out of the gate? And then 2 seconds later, he's like, welcome to Dr. Wolfenstein.
Yep.
So Steen and then Stein.
It's funny, isn't it? I know.
Within 2 minutes of the film, they I don't know why they couldn't get the narrator to change it or something like that to match, but they didn't. I don't know if he kept it as a joke because it's always been Frankenstein.
I have a question
Dr.
for you,
Frankenstein.
I have a question for you. How come you asking so many goddamn jackassy questions?
I fucking love how he delivers that line.
Oh my god! Every line he delivers
jackassy questions.
Circle up the wagons, pilgrims.
Space boy. Yeah, I thought so. I know what your problem is. He's great. You all think this hoax from the country. What the hell does he say? Funny line. Saddle up the mule. I got to get me some education, you asshole. He's fucking great. He is great. The intro is fucking epic. It is an underrated intro of all horror movies fucking history. No one talks about it as a great opening. It's like the best, one of the best. I fucking love this movie. Excites me when I sit down to watch this movie. It's one of the very few movies, no matter what, I'm always excited to watch it. When I sit down, I'm like, all right, let's go. I sit up in my seat. I got a big smile on. Not many movies really do that for me. That's what this movie does. And as far as the editing, see, to me, it's Texas Chainsaw 1 and 2 mixed with my favorite movie, Natural Born Killers, with that fucking the lights and the cutting and the editing, the way I love that shit. And with Rob Zombie's musical style itself, White Zombie. This is, to me, a Rob Zombie film more so than the others. This exemplifies him. This is when I think of Rob Zombie and his album covers and the stuff he puts in his music with all the black and white horror and, Gore Girls and all that other shit that he has going around. This is a movie that when you see that he's doing this movie, it's of no surprise. Granted, it's a debut, but you're like, okay, this fits into what I would have imagined a Rob Zombie movie is going to be. That's something I love about it. So it's combining all those things, and I love it for it. And I do love Captain Spaulding in that scene and the murder ride and everything else. And Captain Spaulding kills it every time on the scene in the clown suit. He's fucking fantastic. But to me, and it's always going to be this way, Otis steals the fucking show. This movie is all Otis to me. Everything that comes out of his mouth is gold. He is one of the most badass fucking characters. Everything he does, there are some shots of him. I think I sent you guys the one when he's on top of the freaking, he's like, ah! He fucking exemplifies an evil fucking, if anybody should have become, and it's too bad Rejects and Three from Hell became what they became. And I'm not hating on them. I just prefer this Otis over the fucking Charles Manson Otis that he becomes later on. And I love that too, but I just wish I wish the other two movies were this style of movie, because he would have become a horror icon.
Well, that's another thing. They totally abandoned this Otis. I mean, it's almost like Devil's Rejects isn't even related to this, except for the fact that you have Spaulding and Baby. Because Otis changes like crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, they give him. I would almost want to say they humanize him, even though I guess people could argue that. But in this one, he's just pure evil.
Well, he's satanic. He's dressed up in makeup. He's pure evil.
Well, it doesn't look like he can have a conversation with anybody except his immediate family in this one, whereas in the other ones, he seems like he can actually converse with people and not necessarily kill everybody in his fucking sight.
He even starts to crack jokes as the other movies go on. But you get your Funhouse remake here with the murder ride. There you go.
This is the Funhouse. This is what it would look like. That whole scene where it pulls back with the neon and it comes down and it's just Captain Spaulding's. I'm talking about that. Just introducing that. It's fantastic. And like, I'm with you. What are they? My big question is at the end, because there's a lot of visuals, and at the end where it goes all bat out of hell, shit crazy, bat shit fucking nuts. At the end, it really is still a big question mark. Like, all these people kind of live under there. There's this Dr. Satan. There's this guy that comes out with a battle axe and whatever. It does go
the guy
off the
guy with the battle axe is Earl, right?
Tiny's father, correct.
Tiny's father.
At least that's what we're led to believe by the flashbacks when she's telling the story. Yes.
Yeah, and RJ, the tow driver, his father is RJ. We have no idea who Otis's father is, and Baby's father is Spaulding.
Well, we find that out later. Yes, but yes, correct.
So
Rufus, it gets very confusing. But yeah,
it doesn't matter. She's fucked a bunch of guys and she has different kids.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't ultimately love where this film goes.
Well, what about where I was going with it though is, like, in my long-winded way, was they put the makeup on and then they're doing that. What are they doing out there? Like, is it a sacrifice to the land? Like, what are they doing?
It's all a dream. The whole third act is a dream sequence of the girl as soon as they put her down there. The whole fucking thing. As a matter of fact, ultimately, she doesn't even really get picked up by Captain Spaulding at the end in the car, and then Otis coming up from the back, which is all fucking brilliant. In my theory, none of that.
You don't think she gets picked up?
No, because I don't think he's going to bring her back and put her under the ground again, and he's going to go through all that shit, and then she ends up at Dr. Satan. I think the only thing that's real is that she gets put down there, and she's out of it from that point on. She fucking mentally snaps. This is all a dream sequence, because they do allude to her. They do allude to her dreaming 2 or 3 times earlier in the movie. She has the dreams later. Okay, so this is another one. She finally fucking mentally snaps when they lower her into the thing, and there it goes. And then she wakes. Everything else from that moment is a dream, and then she wakes up in Dr. Satan's chair, and that's just where she's been.
You know what? I usually, I mean, I'm 50-50 with it all being a dream thing, but for the sake of this film, it helps it only because with the opening scene, with Spaulding, he's connected to the family. So having that reveal with Otis sitting up in the backseat is kind of stupid.
I love it. I've always loved it.
I mean, it looks cool, but it's kind of stupid. It's like, oh, like, did you really think anything else was going to happen the first time you saw it?
Yeah, but the thing is, hold on, though. No, of course not. I was hoping that something was going to happen. And seeing Otis come up, and he gives him that dirty look, too, which I love. Because he doesn't like fucking Spaulding. He gives him that nasty look, but he looks
Damn you, Cutter.
Right? But the thing is, he tries to prevent them from going. He's trying to avoid them. He even says, I still say it's a waste of time. He doesn't want to fucking send them out that direction. He's trying to keep them. He's almost like the way what do you call it? The cook is in Texas Chainsaw 1, where he tells the kid, you don't want to go messing around with an old house.
Yeah,
it's
no,
almost like he's doing the same thing. Don't fucking go there. So if truly it's to be believed that he is involved with them, why would he then do that?
Yeah, look, Otis is a smart guy, but Spaulding is the brains of the operation. Spaulding is, the...
I disagree. I think that old bitch hog don't know shit, just the way Otis says. I seriously, I don't know. I don't think he's the brains. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I think he's the brains. I think he's the one who wants to avoid the drama. And Otis and Baby are the straight up psychopaths. I mean, Baby, straightforward, is pure psychopath. Otis is a smart guy, but he's also very susceptible to just going off the rails.
Well, true, but if you're going by Devil's Rejects characters, I will give you that. But if I'm just speaking on House of a Thousand Corpses and what we're presented with here, I just see Spaulding doing like I said. I don't think he's meant to be tied in. Granted, we get the reveal at the end and we find out he is. But I mean, again, I don't know. I don't see him as being heavily involved that way. I think
he's only in it for a short period of time, but I don't know. I still feel like he is. I feel like, by drawing the map, he's drawing it directly to their doom.
Yeah, but they asked where it is, and he's showing it to him, and he's pissed off about it. And he's like, here, you go here. Here's your chicken. It's a waste of time. Get out. He's fucking aggravated about the whole thing. It's true. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Take the free chicken. I'll draw you the map. He wouldn't shut up about it. And he even said it. He didn't, he was trying to prevent them from going. So
if he was trying to prevent them, he would have drawn them a map back to the highway or something.
Well, guess what? Who knows if his map was accurate? Because they were lost in the fucking rain, and they still didn't really 100% know where it was. And Beatty was the one that said, I know where that place is. I'll show you exactly where it is.
I think that was all part of it. I think it's like I'm gonna draw you to this road. Baby's gonna be here. RJ's gonna be there with the crossbow, or the shotgun, whatever you use.
Crossbow, the fucking shotgun.
Shotgun, whatever. I'm sorry.
That's a good point.
I'm thinking of that turd that comes at the end of this series. Sorry.
Oh shit.
No, boy. No. You know what, B? I take it back. That's a good point because she just happens to be hitchhiking and RJ's there with the gun. I take it back. So the implication is that Spaulding did lead them there. I'm sorry.
But then you're saying that whole fire sequence and seance or whatever is all just a dream and really doesn't have to hold any stock in reality.
Correct.
Okay.
And I love it. And I'll tell you how much.
It looks good. It looks
fucking
creepy. However, I was just like, what's it all about? What's it all for?
Well, Dr. Satan it's a satanic thing, and they're worshipers of Satan, and they're doing occultist stuff. Which is fine. And keep this in mind, see, it's Halloween. It's a fucking big deal here.
True,
you know what I mean?
True.
So
we saw
all
that.
And look at this. Maybe all these supernatural things are only happening because it's fucking All Hallows Eve. Maybe it's going the supernatural.
All Hallows Eve.
It's going the supernatural route because of fucking what's happening here. Any other night, this couldn't happen. But because it's Halloween, they're able to do this and they want to do this. It's sacrifice, whatever it is for whatever with Dr. Satan. Maybe that's why all this shit happened, only because it's Halloween. Maybe any other night of the year, this doesn't happen. Take like the Night of the Demons type thing, that they can be out until
the whole sacrifice part, because they did have the 5 cheerleaders that were
they're killers, yeah. We know that. But they didn't sacrifice anyone else. They didn't bring anybody else to Dr. Satan. They only brought one person there. And if you go by her visions, there's other people. Well, true, one doesn't really make it, but you see, they do bring them there in the bunny outfits and everything else, and you see a couple more people in bunny outfits in there. So we're to believe that these people are walking around half brainless because this doctor's working on them, trying to create some fucking master race. See, the way I get it, this is all information that's kind of been pumped into this girl's head, and she's come up with all these fantastical because she's even seen Dr. Satan in that dream she had previously. Earlier on in the movie, she saw her own version of Dr. Satan, and it just so happens to be what he actually looks like when they get there. When she sees him up and about, that's not even a human. So to me, it's either all supernatural because it's Halloween.
Yeah, he looks crazy. That was my last question. Does he drink Red Bull? Because it gives him wings.
It gave him wings. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I don't know. I think you're giving too much credit to this. I don't think all of it is a dream.
Well, it's either that or I'll go supernatural because it's Halloween.
Well, that's not normal. I never once thought it was a dream. So I'll buy the Halloween.
I don't think it's supernatural. I think it's just more sci-fi experimental. I think it's pretty straightforward. I really do think that there is Dr. Satan.
So then what's that guy chasing him? And what's Dr. Satan?
Battle axe and stuff. You're thinking that all. See that because I think it goes off. Like I feel like it's super cool, But I'm like, but this is ridiculous. Like,
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it becomes an entirely different movie, like a science fiction horror film with like robotic monsters and ghouly Muppets or whatever the hell they are. But
I still think it's in the realm of cool, but it's so like it's off the rails at that point, and you're either along for the ride or you check out. It sounds like Brandon checked out. I'm still along for the ride.
I'm still along for the ride, but they're going to eventually ignore this anyway. But I think at this point there is this demon legend, this horrific legend of Dr. Satan, and he is real, and he's part of the Firefly clan, and they sacrifice their victims to him, and they turn him and he turns them into these awful experiments, like he did with Earl after he said House of the Fire and hurt Tiny. Like they sacrificed Earl to him, and Earl became like his right hand juggernaut with a battle axe.
Yeah, okay.
But that's the problem, is that Earl is too far. He's not human at all when you see him. The way his skin looks and the way and the shit and the way his mouth looks and that stuff that he spits out, none of that's human. That's monster shit.
No, I know.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it has to be a dream, or it has to be a supernatural fucking thing that only happens here.
It's supernatural sci-fi. It's mad scientist type stuff. It's reanimator type stuff. To me,
which makes sense, because if he's experimenting on people, that's why he got kicked out of that Willow's place, because of his experiments. Then that would all make sense. But I can pass all that, but I just can't. You can't tell me that they exist down there, fucking 24/7, 365, and all those bones, and nobody in the neighborhood knows about it.
Like of this.
No,
but there is no neighborhood. I mean, they're out there in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the Firefly house is filled with 75 bodies or whatever they say at the beginning of Devil's Rejects, and it's just they're so isolated.
Well, I guess if you can excuse what happens in Texas Chainsaw 2 with that underground shit and everything else there, I guess you can excuse it here too, if you're going to say that. I just like the idea of it all being a dream, because I don't know. I just like that idea.
It does go too off the rails if it's not?
I think the kills are a little too quick also.
What?
I think the kills are way too quick. I think Rainn Wilson's kill is just way too quick. As much as we'll talk about the torture scene in part 2 here, he's instantly Fish Boy.
That's great though. That's worth it for the reveal.
No, it looks awesome.
It's great.
You don't want to see that though, buddy, because how are you going to know?
You get his arm chopped off in that video with Brick House. Like
it's very quick. I think Chris Hardwick should have been the one killed first, and Rainn Wilson should have been the one sticking around longer, because he's obviously the better actor. The whole development with Denise's father showing up and the cops. Listen, I like the cops. Walton Goggins playing, the tough deputy who's like, better not mess with me.
Spaniel.
Yeah. And then he becomes a pussy the minute it shows up. It just all unfolds way too quickly. And it's a waste of a good actor. I mean, he's a terrific actor. It's a waste. It's a waste.
Perfect though. How many people? I want to spend my time with fucking the Firefly clan.
Yeah.
These other people that come and go, to me, that's just perfect amounts of time for them to be on the screen.
It was 2 seconds. It was 2 seconds.
They established the dad, and you could tell that like he's expecting her to get there at a certain point. They establish all that.
Yeah, what else do you need?
To seem like every fucking minute of his travel up there, he comes and says, "Hey, they were at this place."
It's too rushed. It's thrown in there as filler, and to add to the body count. And they have to kill, obviously, Wydell for part 2 to set up its storyline. But it just it feels rushed and it feels unnecessary.
Are you kidding me? Without the cop, none of that shit happens. That fucking amazing scene with when that song is playing with "I Remember You" and he's flashing back to that entire.
That's the Halloween 2
scene.
stuff. Like he started it right from his first movie. Sorry for cutting you up. Yes. I'm excited about it because I was like, wow, this is the stuff I was raving about in his H2, where he flashes back to like her as a kid and when the father's getting killed and whatever, and he's when he's holding the daughter and whatever.
It's heavy.
And you're seeing that exactly. He's like remembering shit, and I love that stuff because
me too.
It had no effect on me because he's a character in the movie for 30 seconds. I understand. The only thing I liked about the flashback was that he had a Boston Terrier. That was the type of dog they have. I love Boston Terriers.
That's the only thing.
And then the gunshot and the long fucking the shot of Otis and the guy, the fucking cop.
Yeah, it's style over substance, though.
That's fine.
There's a lot of style here. There is a lot
of
style.
And
a lot of people didn't like it.
Substance.
Why is that a criticism? Why can't the style be the?
It's just it's a cheap tactic.
Why can't the substance be the style? Why can't you just watch a movie? Well, okay, look at the guy that gives fucking Neon Demon a 10 out of 10 or whatever the fuck you gave it. That's style over substance. You don't care.
No, I think there's plenty of substance there. I think there's plenty of substance in the Neon Demon. It's a 2-hour and 10-minute movie. I think there's plenty in there to draw substance from. I think this does the same thing that films that I criticize, like Midsommar or something would do, where it's just more visually and aesthetically pleasing without developing the story. And the story's there.
These characters are so good. How are you not entertained by fucking Otis, Baby, and Spaulding?
Yeah. Baby, she's
all of them.
She's annoying. She's annoying.
Oh,
her laugh is absolutely.
That's just
they cut it out of the other ones, but it's fantastic here.
It's annoying, and it kind of gets repetitive.
Are you annoyed by the girl in Evil Dead, the original? Because it's the exact same laugh. Yes or no?
You know me in Evil Dead. I prefer. I'm okay with Evil Dead. It's such a short scene. I prefer Baby and Devil's Rejects. I feel there's less laughing in that one as far as I remember. And then in part 3, she just returns to either her annoying laugh or mumbling through the whole movie. You couldn't understand one word she said in part 3.
I understood her, but dude, they're having fun in this movie. That's why I love it the most, because the other ones that are on the run and this and that, this is just them in their element, having fun, doing the shit they do, and it's Halloween, and they're just doing their thing, just like fucking Otis says, ain't we having a fucking hoot? You know, because they are having a hoot.
I felt like the kills were a little rushed for it being this contained sort of torture film. This should have been more of the torture film than Devil's Rejects.
To me, this movie isn't about the kills, though. To me, this movie is about the visual aesthetics and the party and fucking these zany characters.
I think Rob Zombie saw what was happening in horror, and it happened to come out at the time frame where we were allowing more gore. And horror films have become more visceral in the theater again. It started in 2000s. We talked about it with, American Psycho and Final Destination. And then suddenly we were getting movies like this, where I think it pushed the envelope and it led to Scream, led to Saw and the Saw franchise. Whether good or bad, it led to that route. And I think he was tired of seeing the sanitized horror of the 90s. And this is his response to it. A love note back to the horror of the 70s. With style, there's nothing that was the substance.
Yeah, this is very gritty and grindhouse, but I just wanted more. It really slows down. There's certain characters that I would have liked to have seen more developed. I really like the whole Tiny Denise thing, even though it's a small scene and you get to see him eating Agatha Christie's, which I just went out and bought a box.
That shit's great. But even in the beginning, the stuff we didn't even mention that fucking Sweet Pea was in this movie.
Sweet Pea.
Right? Those conversations in the beginning, when they're getting robbed.
What did he say? You bust my toilet, I'll bust
your ass. Yeah, and he's like, and he talked about, you're Richard Wick. I knew you work at the Howard there. Little Dick Wick, play with his prick. Don't you start make you sick. And he goes, stop saying that. I hate that song. Those characters are only in there for a minute, and they're great.
That's what I'm saying. Like, isn't the best part of this movie is the first?
That's what I like, though. I'm just saying the characters that are in the movie, they're just fucking in and out. They do their parts. You enjoy them for the time they're there. I don't think I want to see fucking 20 more minutes of that fucking asshole cop. I get enough of.
I don't want to see 20 more minutes. I don't want to see it at all for what they did with it. They did nothing with it. It didn't need to be in there. Could have just killed a couple
cops.
Why?
Why? There's murders happening. There's got to be something realistic to it. The cops have to be called. This is a missing girl.
How about just the main cop and the deputy say, we're going to go out and check it out, and they get killed, rather than the father showing up and it being this whole thing and the flashback?
Yeah, but then you miss out on all those. You miss out on all those good lines. You miss out on the guy saying to the one cop, well, don't you stand there like some prize dog, Dick. You know what I mean? How could you miss out on? There's so many fucking goods coming out of their mouths. And how come the guy in the beginning says,
that's his strength. I don't care what you say. All 3 movies have some great fucking dialogue. All 3.
Part three has zero good dialogue.
You just hate the motherfuckers in that. We'll get to it.
Part 3 has zero good dialogue. No. Part 3 is awful. Sorry.
Well, the girls are annoying. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The main girl that gets out, I forget her name, but I like her. The other girl's annoying as fuck. She's just a little bitch. You know what I mean? And
Mary?
And the guys are just okay. You know what I mean? But the characters are it's all about the Firefly clan. And we haven't even talked about fucking Mama Firefly, Karen Black, and all the stuff she does. And when Tiny first comes out, all that shit's fucking, I don't know.
Karen Black is fucking creepy. Grandpa's hilarious.
Oh, he is, isn't he, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter for the Daily Asshole.
When he does his stand-up comedy routine, I lose my mind every time because it's great. It's hilarious. And then one guy's knocking it all up. Some
Hardwick
people are freaked out. Yeah. Jerry.
Oh, it's great.
What's his name?
Chris Hardwick.
How could you not love it?
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah.
You know? Fuck your mother! All that shit he was saying. I think he's hysterical. That show. Dude, it's great. And how about the murder ride? And let me rewind to the beginning. Do you know who Dr. Wolfenstein is? Who's playing him? And do you know who's playing Ed Gein and fucking Albert Fish?
Ed Gein is Stephen Railsback, right? Or is that just the flashback to the movie version?
No. There was in the murder ride. They show a thing of Ed Gein. They show a fucking Albert Fish. And in the beginning, the guy playing Dr. Wolfenstein is all the same person. Do you know who it is? It's fucking Bill Moseley.
Oh, I know. Sorry, he plays the announcer guy on the TV. That I knew.
And him too.
Okay,
yeah, the guy
that I know. I'm like, that's Bill Moseley. So then, okay, it's him and all of that. That's hilarious.
But don't they show flashes to like the actual to film footages of the killings?
But they're fake. They're not. They show the figures. They show those figures that are in the ride, the murder ride, and then they show fake flashbacks because there are no pictures of Albert Fish.
Well, no, those are fake flashbacks. But those are real movies. That was Ed Gein playing.
No,
who was Stephen Railsback playing Ed Gein in what was the name of the movie?
No, it wasn't because he was sitting there smiling. It was a different thing. You'll see. Go back and watch the murder ride again. That wasn't from
What's the whole thing?
The movie. The movie you're thinking about is Ed Gein. That's just what it was called. Maybe they call it the Plainsville Butcher, but I don't think so. I think that was the other one with Kane Hodder. But it's just called Ed Gein, and Steve Rosenbach did play that part. You're correct about that. But anything in the murder ride, when they showed things, I don't think they had a scene from that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I watched the commentary years ago I watched all his commentaries and bonus things. Not every one, but I definitely watched this one because I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I remember him talking about. Oh yeah,
the bonus episodes of this on the DVD is fucking hilarious. When Spaulding comes out and he just walks in and is like, "Well, shit the bed."
Yep. Oh, he's great. And then he sits there, and the longer you let it go, he starts getting pissed off and shit.
Yeah. It's the best.
When you hit play, it says about fucking time.
Yes. Oh, dude, that's great, dude. Oh fuck. See, I gotta stop because I can just go on. How about when they're on the murder ride and he's talking about Ed Gein and he says. He was very particular of the female parts, especially the sexual organs. The way he says that is so great. Everything he says on that ride is fucking great.
Did they let Sweet Pea live? That was another question because that guy comes in with the big mallet and then just bashes open that guy's head, and then we cut away to the rest of the movie.
I think they're all part of the family. I think Sweet Pea's probably part of the family. I think Ravelli's part of the family. I think Goober might be part of the family.
Fucking G. Albert, fucking asshole.
Well, you're right. We probably could go on and on about it.
That's the problem. It's so great. Great story, Goober. That whole pussy liquor scene is fucking great.
Great story, Goober. That's her best line in the whole movie.
Great story. How about... We like to get fucked up and do fucked up shit. Oh, I like to get fucked up too. And he's like, yeah, I bet you do. I fucking love her. She's fucking great. They're all great. I don't see anything. I have nothing negative to say about any dialogue spoken or the way it's spoken at all in this entire movie. One 30-second scene should have been cut. And it was just that one guy. You are in hell. You want me to tell you? That black guy with a rifle in the desert for no reason that's there. That's the only thing they could have done without. Everything else, I'm always happy to see every bit of it on screen. I just love it. That's the only knock. That little scene and the possible what the fuck is going on in the third act, which I've been able to explain for myself about the entire thing being a dream, makes me feel even better about it. But I mean, shit.
I had questions about it, but doesn't it ruin my enjoyment of the film? What takes it down a notch is just the overuse of that negative filter.
I like it though,
intercut a few times. Just a little too much of it. I think
Zombie
had a great look to it.
It's cool though. I like the way it looks. It's fucking trippy.
Right.
Take a fucking hit of acid and watch that movie and tell me it's not done with intent. It's fucking trippy. It's supposed to be whacked out shit like like Natural Born Killers. And that was the style at the time. It was popular.
I can't say anything bad about Natural Born Killers. It's got much more substance to it. But if you're saying take a hit of acid and just sit back and enjoy this film, then it's more style.
Jammed down your throat in that movie.
Yeah,
and I
but
like Natural Born Killers too. But that message is like, people are talking about Black Christmas having an agenda. That message was like,
every film has an agenda.
But it's fun done with comedy. It's done the right way.
Yeah.
In Natural Born Killers.
I'm just saying, but it's not a subtle message.
I'm just saying if Denise wakes up underground and they have that Carrie-like reemergence where her hand comes up through the ground to the sunlight, if it's all a dream, then when she was put down there with Jerry, what happened to Jerry?
I don't know. Maybe he's in the fucking thing next to her, getting fucked up by Dr. Satan too.
I feel like the experiments were real, whether you like them or not. But
it's okay.
I don't know.
So what do you say?
Okay, I'm gonna just tell you the stuff I love. The fucking attack scene with the scarecrows. Everything about that is just brilliant. When they're coming out, and they think they're gonna get away, and they get let go, and they freaking.
It's Tiny and Otis that come off.
Yeah, dude, that's so badass. The way
that is badass.
Oh man, they throw him on the freaking car, and the way Tiny walks slow, and he comes up to the thing, and how Otis gets on top of the thing with that freaking pipe and bashes the windshield. That's an amazing scene, and him celebrating. Yeah, dude, I love that stuff.
But that sets it up. That sets it up when they bring them all back inside. That sets this film up to be, let's torture these four. And I hate those types of films, like especially where the good guys get tortured, and it just bothers me. And I usually don't like it, but that's what this film should have been, and it just felt so rushed.
I don't want torture. I don't care about torture. I care about them fucking just killing and having fun. But
it's slow, and it doesn't. I don't know. It feels too chopped up.
I mean, just what about all the dialogue is just, there's no other movie. There's so few movies like this where I love so much of the dialogue. That's what it is to me.
It's heavy on the dialogue, and Otis. As much as I love Otis, I feel like sometimes like he gets with these like generic like sort of like social commentary spewings.
Yeah, but that's
I am like it's like all right, just you're a killer, just start killing, torturing.
Yeah, but that's a play on Manson type shit, and that's just stuff that he came up with on the cuff. You know what I mean? But the fun they have. I bet you'd stick your hell in fire if I told you could see hell, boy. Meanwhile, you're too stupid to realize you got a demon sticking out your ass singing, "Holy Miss Molly, got me a live one." That's fucking great, dude. And the shit at the end with the whole thing with fucking, "Who's your daddy?" and he comes out with a mask on, that Texas Chainsaw 2 shit, and when he comes up and he's like,
that is pretty cool.
It's all real,
and he
goes,
yeah.
I love that shit.
It's all real. The boogeyman.
The boogeyman is real, and you found him. That's fucking brilliant. I don't know. Maybe I'm just. It just speaks to me. Okay. All that shit.
I love that line too, man, and I love when he comes down with the face mask. Like that's again. I think Zombie's more of a fan of Texas 2 than even the original, because there's so many nods back to Texas 2.
There is a lot. It's great. It's like, I'm telling you, it's Texas 1 and 2, it's Natural Born Killers, and it's just Rob Zombie's flavor. That's what it is to me. It's just all that fun shit and all that old school horror, and fucking.
It's fun. It's a fun movie. I did have questions. I do have little nitpicks, but it doesn't overall. They don't overly ruin my enjoyment. It was just a little lower than I remember being on it in the past.
That's okay. I'll just give it the highest rating, like I always fucking do.
Too many fucking pumpkins.
Oh fuck you!
There was a lot of pumpkins.
Too many dolls nailed to the front porch.
But that's Halloween.
I like the dolls.
That's Halloween. I like the dolls too. I like it all, man. You guys realize that Dragula is actually on the screen when they're watching it with fucking, and that's one of his songs?
Yeah, one of his, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Don't start with me, Hugo," and he fucking throws the mashed potato at the TV. I don't know. Maybe I'm the biggest fan there is of this movie. I just fucking adore all the dialogue and these characters. I just have so much fun. I guess if it was gorier, maybe I could like it even more, but.
It's pretty damn gory.
No, it's not. It's not. That's the thing. It's not. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre syndrome. You think it's gory. If you go back and watch it, it's not as gory as you think. It's one of those, I think, where your mind plays tricks on you, which I'll give it credit for. which I'll give it credit for. And that was my complaint with the kills. It's like, man, just linger on them a little longer. It's frightening looking, but I don't feel like it's that gory.
I don't think it's that gory either. I think there's a little bit, but I like it. And there's a couple scary things when he's looking at the dolls and he hears they're calling him. What is his name? Jerry? Was Jerry when he's waiting outside for baby to come back, and then she comes around and she's surprised, and he's sitting looking around, and they're going, Jerry, Jerry, little voice, he's spooking himself out, and then later on when she's chasing the girl down and she wants to kill her, this bitch is mine. He goes, all right, go ahead, and he's chasing her that whole fucking. There once was a rabbit who lived, and then she's fucking stabbing her over and over.
Dude,
that's a great kill. They don't really show gore.
It's still bloody. It's still pretty damn bloody.
I hate the chase scene. I absolutely find her so annoying spewing that bullshit. I
love it.
I absolutely hate it. I don't know.
It's so charismatic to me. These are charismatic fucking
It's almost
killers.
as bad as, and I know not everyone is not a patron and has the video, but it's almost as bad as this in 3 from Hell. this chase that she does.
I don't know what that is, but we'll get to it. That's
3
fine.
from Hell, where she chases the woman with the knife outside. She's running after her like a mummy.
I guess I don't remember her doing that part, but it's okay.
It's one of the best scenes in the movie, but you guys are killing me here.
Okay,
Horrible.
one more thing.
Horrible.
Son of a bitch, man. Son of a bitch. There was one more thing. Oh, I want to tell you guys something. I loved Otis fucking so much in this movie later on with the fire and when he dresses himself up in the red cape and the white makeup and does his thing that I went for that on Halloween. I got the makeup freaking done by a girl. She's fucking sat down because the picture was in the because I used to listen to the soundtrack fucking incessantly as well. So that picture was inside the soundtrack when you open up the flap of the CD. So I went and I had this girl do it for me. I had the wig, the white wig. I had the red robe. I had the fucking white face point and the fucking cross. I looked just like him. And I went and I dealt cards at the Flamingo dressed like that all fucking night long. I was fucking obsessed. Everybody at work I knew it. I used to call the Flamingo, the place I worked at, the House of 1,000 Corpses because there was so many old players and they were all fucking, mellow and too old and too fucking, they weren't a fun crowd. But anyway, that was a time period in my life and I was really heavy into it. And I love the movie. And I it's too bad I can't give it a perfect 10 because I can't. Because of one or two tiny things. Most notably, the conclusion of the last season. Huh?
Most notably tiny. 1 or 2 tiny things. Most notably tiny.
Anyway, I'll stop. 9.5 out of 10. I won't talk about this movie anymore.
I'm a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Okay. Jesus.
B's gonna fuck me.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. I love your passion for these films. For a film that could be described as TCM, TCM2, and even that ending, even though I'm not a lover of it, you can almost describe that those tunnels and those creatures almost like Descent-like. And you describe those 3 movies, it should be a great movie. I just feel like for a House of 1,000 Corpses, they don't really add any more corpses to the house. There's just not enough. The dialogue, while great, and Captain Spaulding being my favorite, not in it enough. The cop scene seemed really underdeveloped and could have gone somewhere really well. But 6 out of 10.
Great story, Google.
Oh,
sorry. Sorry.
Holy fuck.
I'm sorry.
I'm so bummed out because I thought when you say you did a 180, because every fucking buddy blows the fuck out of Devil's Rejects and just thinks this one is okay. So I thought you were like everybody else and you were going to come and say, oh, I watch Corpses and oh man, I love it so much more than Rejects now. I think
I'm the biggest fan of this series then.
Now, to be fair, I have not seen these movies a lot. I am not a Rob Zombie hater. I am not a Rob Zombie diehard lover. I do not criticize him. I respect him. But I have not seen any of his films a ton of times. This was probably like my 3rd time watching this film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't watched him a ton of times either, but this is probably my 6th time seeing this one.
Yeah. Maybe with time.
That's more than what most people do. Again, most people watch a movie once. They may go back to it. And then if you're a diehard fan or a fanatic, then you'll go watch it multiple times. But this is not like I've definitely not watched this as many times as some of the.
Just one quick question: Why, when they dumped the car, did they put one of the cheerleaders' bodies in it?
Just
with Trick or Treat on it. With Trick or Treat on
the cops.
This doesn't seem like something they would do.
Why
or maybe It just doesn't seem like
they
something
got a
would
fucking
do.
They're playful.
catacomb of 1,000 fucking corpses. Isn't that something they're gonna
So
do?
they decide after years and years of hiding 1,000 corpses, let's put one out there just to lure.
It's Halloween. They're fucking celebrating. You keep forgetting.
No, I know it said the body says trick or treat carved into it.
Yes, that's why they're having fun. That's what this is all about. This is a Halloween movie. They're celebrating. They're not doing what they normally do. This is Halloween. Why do you think he brings that thing down to fucking to see Mother Firefly? One of her fucking. That's from the Funhouse too, by the way. The fucking 2-headed thing in the jar. Why does he bring that thing down? Why do they have the fucking special dinner with the paper mache faces and all, and go through all and have showtime? It's special to them. They even come out and say it. You know.
All right, 5.5 out of 10. I'm just kidding.
Here's one question about something funny. How come in the beginning when what's his name is telling Spaulding the story, when Sweet Pea is telling the story about the guy that they mutually know, he goes, oh, that guy's been doing something, about shoving that pencil up his ass or something like that. And then he tells him, all he does is put the pencil in his eyeball and twist it around. Then he goes, and then the guy says, he's been putting it up his ass. And he goes, nah, he says, he don't do nothing like that. But then he says, but one day he went to the hospital and he had a character from Planet of the Apes shoved up his ass. So why would he defend him saying he wouldn't put a pencil up his ass, but he did put a fucking figure up his ass?
Oh, yeah, Dr. Zaius.
Yes.
You mentioned Dr. Zaius.
Yes. I don't get that. I just always said, why?
But that's comical. I like that because that makes no sense, but it's so backwoodsy because Sweet Pea is like, he's such a redneck. And Ravelli, they never bring him back. I would have loved to have seen it. I mean, the actor who played him died, but he, like, when he charges in, scared the shit out of me.
Oh, it's great the way they shoot and they use it. Oh, by the way, also his best fucking soundtrack and score of this movie. He does the score for the movie, which is amazing, and he does the fucking soundtrack. And all the original songs are not only the best in this movie, of all his movies, they are Rob Zombie's best fucking music. Listen to all Rob Zombie's solo albums, and then listen to his House of 1,000 Corpses soundtrack, and it's amazing.
I think if you're a Rob Zombie music fan, then I'm sure you'll say this is his best soundtrack, but Devil's Rejects has the best music, hands down.
I don't mean it that way. I'm saying a Rob Zombie solo music that he does, that he performs. He has like
I couldn't tell you one Rob Zombie
Well,
song.
I like Brick House remix, his Brick House. I like House of 1,000 Corpses. Like,
Little Piggy.
She's a Brick House?
She's the Brick House.
Well, it's the Commodores. They have the original, and then they've got his version at the end.
Yeah, and they got the girl, a rapper with them too. Trina, I think it was. Yeah. All right.
Devil's Rejects?
Devil's Rejects.
2005.
Here comes the fucking blowjob fest. Go ahead.
No, it's not going to be a blowjob fest. The murderous backwoods Firefly family take to the road to escape a vengeful police force which is not afraid of being as ruthless as their targets.
Indeed. Great movie. Different, radically different.
Well, yeah, but I applaud him for, don't get me wrong, Dave, what you said earlier. Yeah, I could see and love a sequel that shared that like lighting and visual aesthetic from House of 1,000 Corpses. But I love the fact that he went somewhere different with it and expanded on the characters. I hate the fact Karen Black wouldn't come back and wanted some extra pay that they couldn't give her.
But this girl does great, I think.
She does great. She's creepy
Leslie
too, man.
Leslie Easterbrook. Yeah. You know who that is? The girl from freaking Police Academy movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I knew. Now I didn't know that until you.
Yeah.
That's like revelation in my head now. I'm just realizing that's her. That's hilarious.
Isn't that dude? It shocked me when it first came out because of her playing that part and doing so well in it and looking, because you always looked at her being the bombshell, like the tall girl, and then to see Priscilla Barnes, who was freaking what's her name on Three's Company, come in and have that role. Why can't I remember her name? There was Chrissy. There was, why can't I remember her name? I used to love her on that show. Well, it'll come to me later. But anyway, she goes from Three's Company to that part.
Yeah.
Seen her in a
and
while,
her pussy stinks, but I hope it doesn't rust Otis's barrel.
I was going to bring that line up. That line is fucking amazing.
That's a great line.
I hope it doesn't rust my barrel.
The way he delivers that line is brilliant because it's so nonchalant. He's just like strolling out. Hope it doesn't. And I think he sniffs the barrel as he says, "I hope it don't rust the barrel."
That whole scene is probably my favorite in the movie. That walk they take.
The walk scene is good. My major criticism with it is the whole Sullivan Banjo torture scene being 40 minutes of this movie. And yeah, there's other stuff going on. It's intercut with oh my God, Wydell. What's his name?
William Forsythe.
William Forsythe, who is
fucking amazing
with Captain Spaulding, the standout of this movie.
No, but this is the thing. This is his most Tarantino-esque movie. And
without a doubt.
Okay, I'm glad. I thought people were going to kill me for saying it.
No, that's a fair statement.
Like, there's some great dialogue in House of a Thousand Corpses. I think he nails it here. The conversations, the colorful characters in this one. Because you've got Spaulding in a different way. You've got Otis in a different way. Everybody's different. Evolved different, but they all are amazing in this. Plus, you got like Ken Foray, William Forsythe. You got all these other secondary characters that are just as badass.
Yeah, Michael Berryman.
Well, he delivers the best line in the whole
Spaulding's
movie.
dream at the beginning.
Was
it a bad dream?
50-50. Fucking another great line. 50-50. Was it a bad dream?
He calls the girl, he calls the heavy girl, like he's like, you're like a spastic mongoloid in heat.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Didn't you get enough ass banging last night?
Oh, I love it. He was brilliant in this. He really was.
And
he's so good.
The shit out of that kid in the car. You better have one good reason why you're scared of clowns.
After he knocks out what's her name, PJ Soul.
Yeah. What's this about clown business? Did I stutter? He goes, I got top secret clown business that supersedes any plans you may have for this vehicle. I love that shit.
There's so many great pieces of dialogue in this. Like,
I agree.
Great. I mean, the torture scene does go on a little bit long, but I knew that's what he wanted to do. I mean, he wanted to push the limits of good taste, I guess, and have it an endurance test almost, kind of like the torture scene in Reservoir Dogs, if you will. This goes way beyond that, when the guy gets his ear cut off and it becomes a whole endurance test.
This definitely pushes the limits of being comfortable. It is uncomfortable to watch, but man, that conclusion to it, it's such a terrible conclusion, just like a straight up Texas Chainsaw homage.
What, the girl?
With the girl
running out from when the man finds her?
Running half a mile just over the hill, through the path, right into the middle of the road. And of course, always on these backwoods highways, no truck ever attempts to slow down or stop. They never see a person standing in the middle of the road.
Well, they did break afterwards, but I wish they hit her faster, because you see her out there going, and a car zooms by, then the truck comes and hits her. Almost like I feel they should have cut out like 2 or 3 seconds of her being on that road, like running out, and there was like no chance. But you do at least hear a squeal of him throwing on the brakes afterwards.
She was out of it.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? She's mentally fucking.
But I'm talking about the truck. In the first place? I'm talking about the truck driver.
Oh, do you know what the truck was, by the way? Black Mamba.
Black Mamba? Is this Black Mania? A Black Mania? Yeah.
Oh, Black Mania. I fucked up. I thought you called it Black Mamba by accident.
I think I did both. I think it was Black Mania.
It's really Maria is the real name, but son of a bitch. I should have let Brandon take
Black
that one.
Mamba? It might have been one of the, who knows?
Did you say Mama?
Mamba.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Mama just now. Black Mama.
So wait, what was the real name?
Black Maria is the real name of the truck from Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
The original. Right?
That's
also funny when she runs the wrong way.
She does.
She runs it.
Oh, shit.
But there's some great shots here, and there's no sense of hope. Like, that's the other thing. Yeah, why would anybody do anything these people ask? Because you know they're just getting offed.
Well, that's another thing that bothered me, is that nobody really fought back. The girl does attempt to escape at the end, and Adam did fight a little bit with Otis. I appreciate that, but I didn't love what's his name, your girl's father. What's from your favorite movie of all time?
Whose favorite movie?
Yours.
Natural Born Killers?
Yeah, Jeffrey Lewis.
Oh, wait a minute. That's Juliet's father?
Yeah, that's Juliet's father.
Who is it?
Roy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's Juliette Lewis's father.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow, how the hell did I never know this?
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Lewis. I just don't like how he starts praying and, just like...
Oh, it's hysterical! Oh, when he says, bless the bunnies, bless the little birds. I love that whole scene, I'm telling you. Every minute of that scene, I'm either laughing or I'm fucking pumping my fist. Oh, it's great. Bless the bunnies.
Is that where Otis pretends that the power of the prayers is working?
Oh,
yeah.
It's great. That is great.
How do you not like that? It's so funny.
It's like so pathetic after like such a long, like drawn out torture scene. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, do something, attempt to fight back. At least the other guy attempted to fight back.
Oh, you mean when they're in the hotel room?
No, I mean when they're out, right before he bashes his head in.
Well, that whole scene was great because he didn't know, he thought they were going to let him go. You know?
No, at that point he knows they're not. That's why.
I know, but what I'm saying is now he's just stripped down to praying, and he's in a pathetic situation. All you can do is pray. What did you want him to do?
Hey, the other guy fought back. The other guy fought him, hit him.
Yes, he did.
He got drop kicked, and then he's like, "Fuck you." They always say that.
Yeah, but by that time it was over with. By the time he was doing the prayers, and he said, "I want you to pray." What could he do? The guy's on top of him with a gun, and he's above you. What are you supposed to do?
You fight.
So what if he's a religious man? He wants to pray. So he wants the bunnies to be blessed.
For the bunnies.
Yes, it's all about rabbits. This whole freaking trilogy.
Mallory should have showed up.
Oh, right. How about the look on his face, though, is fucking... It's a great job of acting. It's priceless. When they're walking down the thing, and he's like, well, I guess I ain't going to do any harm to tell you. And he goes, we're going to get here, and that's the end of the road. And then the guy, he shakes his head, and he's like, what? He can't understand it. You know what I mean? He's, like, puzzled. The way that look he gives and how he says that. And then he stops, and he goes, you're not going to kill us, are you? Oh, that's great. How do you not love that? Killing makes it sound so permanent.
Jeffrey Lewis was a really good actor.
He is.
He was. I mean, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was a well-known actor for a long time.
Yeah, he was good in this movie, and that's okay. That's you complained about that shit. That is the only horror in this movie. Is anything involving? There's two good things about the Banjo and Sullivan thing. That's the only horror in the entire movie. Otherwise, it's just them fucking partying and then getting thrown out of a window at the end of the movie and the escape in the beginning with gunfire and shit. And then there's horror in the middle, and that's it. So that's why I don't mind that went long. That's the only horror in the movie, and the only somewhat likable characters are fucking Banjo and Sullivan, and they're real people. You know what I mean? People say Rob Zombie can't write fucking characters that are decent. They're just decent folk. They're fine. They're normal people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I like about that. Yeah. The only thing I don't like is the shit with Priscilla Barnes, because I am an Otis fan, and I don't like seeing him doing that to that girl. It's too exploitive. I don't like him being. Yes, I don't care that he fucking kills cheerleaders and fucks corpses. That doesn't bother me.
Making her blow him?
You did all that. It's the sexual assault on a live female. It's just too much for me to love the character. Where before he's evil but fun, but when I see him there, it's one step above like child molestation or something. I don't want to see a woman be terrorized that way. So it makes me.
No, it really does. But I mean, I think that you're right, because it turns like a fun maniac into like, no, he's a despicable, like.
Well, that's what
he wanted to do, right?
That's why it drags on too long. It's a 40-minute thing that probably should have been 15 to 20 minutes, and it still would have had the same effect. It almost felt like they didn't know what to do. Yeah, they're cutting back to Wydell and Mama Firefly's showdown, and that's terrific. I love that.
That's good too.
I love every bit of that, but every time they come back to the hotel room, I'm just like, it is very uncomfortable to watch, and that's probably why I bring it down. Not because it's necessarily bad, because it goes on too long, because I'm personally uncomfortable, like Dave says.
Right,
it reaches a point of like, especially like knowing Priscilla Barnes and seeing her in so many things, it doesn't feel right.
That's
it makes it a little bit
movie I don't like either.
It makes it a little easier. But it's a little easier to watch because you know who the actress is, but it's still like, it's like so dirty.
But I respect him for doing it. I don't like it, but I respect him for doing it because it is horrible, and it's a horror film, and I don't want to see it. So there's that element there. Again, it is hard to watch, and it goes on a little too long, so I subtract a little bit, but not much. Like this one, it's about the character interplay. I love William Forsythe's the vengeful cop brother.
Fantastic.
And what he wants to do to bring vengeance to it. Now, my question is, at the end, when he rounds them all up, does he bring it back to their house?
Yeah, he brings them back to the Firefly house after the Unholy Two gets them, which is another great duo of characters.
Oh, yeah, of course. Dallas Page and fucking
Danny. Man, I loved when Trejo sneaks in and slits the woman's throat.
Oh, it's great.
Such a cool scene, and then Dallas Page shoots. I don't like that he shoots Elizabeth Daily because she's so fucking hot. Shoots her right in the head, and then beats the shit out of Otis. Finally, Otis gets an ass whooping.
Yeah, see, that's the only time you see that. Oh, those fucking CG gunshots, though. That fucking brings us
Yeah,
down
well,
every time.
yeah, he did, and he didn't get rid of them for Three from
I
Hell either.
know. And the worst part of the whole thing is the scene that I sent you guys.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
I
knife.
knew I was gonna. That knife and the blood and her pulling it out takes me out of the movie every fucking
It's
time
so
I
funny.
watch it.
Like, okay, you know me, I've complained about CG a lot, and it never bothered me in this. The gunshots are a little
Really?
wonky, but it doesn't really take me out. It's so fast.
Yeah, the
It's
knife didn't bother me
stuff
as
like
much.
It Chapter 2 bothered me. Like, that CG was fucking brutal.
I didn't notice anything bad there. It's
What?
so weird.
I was like watching it going, this is horrible. You just destroyed the scare by having this tree monster running down the hallway.
Well, I got to watch Chapter 2 again. I just got the
Or whatever
4K.
it was, but it was, oh my
You
God.
talking about part 1?
2.
Because okay. Oh, okay.
I like Otis running down the stairs at the beginning. Shit, fuck, shit, fuck.
Oh yeah, shit, fuck. And yeah, because he hears his name on the radio. That's why he gets so mad. Big fucking deal. It's not even a real name. Otis Driftwood. You know what I mean? Otis Driftwood.
That's
so
really cool because I like the Marx Brothers. I'm not by no means an expert on Groucho Marx or anything Marx Brothers related, but I like that. That's cool that they're all character names. And that whole Elvis versus Groucho thing with Marty Walker, I love it. I think it's a great.
It's funny, yes.
I think it's a great, funny little scene to add in there.
I love it, and I that's the type of people that annoy us. The movie critics like that act that, and they're throwing all these facts. Well, and Groucho did this, and he played God, and he did this, and the guy stood up in the theater and said, "Marty, let my people go." That's like people we know in the horror community that you mention one thing and they want to spit a million facts about fucking something. That's what that reminds you of. People on
it
fucking
really
Twitter,
is.
and people that we know that want to show how big of a fan they are. They're like this type of movie critic that wants to. You mentioned Groucho, and he has to go and talk about fucking every Groucho thing in the world. It's like mention a horror movie around someone, they got to talk about, oh, well, this happened and this. Shut the fuck up. We don't care.
Oh my God, this belongs on the top 100 horror pet peeves list.
Oh, we got to make that instead.
We really got to make that.
We're doing pet peeves. We're just gonna bitch for an
You
hour.
liked Otis's lines in the first one more than this. There's just so many good ones in this.
They're equal. He has great lines in this, and he has great lines in that. I think they're both great. I think these ones are kind of everything about Devil's Rejects has been overblown. I see it and I hear it too fucking much now. So it's like when you hear a great song on the radio that you like and then they fucking play it to death. That's what a lot of the stuff from the Devil's Rejects.
It's weird. I feel like in part 1 he was much more preachy, even though in this one he's like straight up more Manson. I feel like he's less preachy and even has a little bit of like chill to him, almost a little bit of not comedy. The closest he comes to comedy is maybe the in the truck in the ice cream. I don't see any fucking ice cream. Not one of your two's future. 2 seconds later, they're eating Tutti Frutti.
Oh, that's great.
I love it.
Puts it up, like, that whole sequence is pretty funny. Because, again, it's funny because it's them, and they're fucking arguing about ice cream, Tutti Frutti. But it works. Tutti Frutti.
Tutti fucking fruity. Tutti fucking fruity. Now that is funny. I'll tell you what's not fucking funny. I'll rant some more. That fucking Greasy Strangler shit where for no reason those two people are fucking going Rudy, Tootie, Disco Cutie, Rudy, Tootie, over and fucking over
Dude,
again.
I fucking hate the Greasy Strangler.
Oh, so I hate it too. I'm so sick of fucking hearing the worship of it because that scene is stupid. It's like this, but it doesn't make sense that those characters would do that in that movie. This was a good girl who cheated on this fucking guy with his father. Why would they rub it in his face by fucking singing songs to him?
That's such a weird, disgusting movie. I don't even care to ever know about that.
It's all stuff that fucking we could have come up with. Anyway, I mean, when I saw Tutti fucking Fruity, it got me thinking about Rudy, Tootie, Disco Cutie. But as far as lines from this movie, this is to me like the first movie is all Otis for me. This, I'm not going to say I prefer him, but I like him just as much. I prefer Sid Haig. I like Sid Haig. I like Captain Spaulding just as much as I like Otis in this movie because his lines, everything in the beginning when he's all pissed off, even in the dream, he's like, I calls him like I sees him. I say that all the time, you know. And he's like, you think I'm a horse? He's like, I don't think it. I know it. You know, I say it.
Say something funny, clown.
Oh yeah, that's great. And there's one line that I say in this movie all the time. I say it so much, my wife had a dream about it. And I said it in the dream. And when he says, "You ain't going nowhere, bitch," when he says that, when he's getting ready to go, he's like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "You ain't going nowhere, bitch." I say that line so often to my wife in comical. It's true. I say it as a joke, to crack jokes to my wife for certain things, right? She had a dream a couple months ago, and in the dream, she was going to divorce me. She was leaving me for some reason, and she told me, she woke up, and she goes, and in the dream, I told her, and this is what she said, I said in the dream, quote, "In my Halloween voice, you ain't going nowhere, bitch." That's what I said. Now, the Halloween thing is because I think she thought that came from Rob Zombie's Halloween, because the other thing I always quote all the time is William Forsythe in the beginning of Halloween 1 when he does that thing. "I'm all broken up here, bitch." I say that a lot too. So because of those lines,
it's like having like scrambled eggs for breakfast.
Right. "I can't work," he says, because she's like, "Yeah, nah, nah, nah." But anyway,
Oh, that
but
whole
I do.
Otis though, like we didn't even talk about that. Boy, the next word that comes out of your mouth better be some brilliant fucking Mark Twain shit, because it's definitely getting chiseled on your tombstone. That's fucking great. That line's great.
"I am the devil.
Yep.
And I'm here to do the devil's work." It's fucking brilliant. But to me, I love that line probably more than "It's all true, the boogeyman's real and you found him." But it's of the same type of thing. But I do love that line. But again, I've heard it and seen it so much everywhere that I look that it's become like that song on the radio that gets fucking played so much that it becomes fucking Led Zeppelin Black Dog, which I love Led Zeppelin for. But every time I can't explain it. It just when everybody else loves what I love and it gets shoved down your throat, it doesn't have that same feel for me. Like, to me, House of a Thousand Corpses is my movie. Not a lot of people love it the way I do. To me, everybody loves The Devil's Rejects, and I love it too. But I don't know. I've just heard some of those things a little too much. Not to take away from them, but that's the way my mind works sometimes, I love when she goes, "I know you heard me," when fucking she's in the room, Baby. You don't love that stuff when Baby's fucking with those two girls? Because that's the torture stuff I love. I think it's amusing.
I think that's her strongest performance is in this film, and I think it's when she's playing the more serious, nasty Baby, which is in the hotel, for sure. Yeah. When she's not goofy, all over the place Baby, I kind of prefer her like this.
And when she's flirting with fucking Sullivan and all that shit, and she's like, "You gonna come here?" I bet all the girls just want to fuck you. And that stuff's great, dude. Or is my brother gonna? Yeah. Could you say that again? That ain't the only thing I do with this mouth. Oh, she's fucking and so sexy.
Oh, my wife's in that room.
Right.
Can we go to a different room? Yeah.
And how about the funny part when that guy pukes when they shoot the other guy?
Oh.
See, that breaks it up for me because the guy pukes and makes me laugh. That's something Brandon would do. Fuck it, I shoot Christian in the head. Brandon probably puke.
I don't know if I would. I really don't know.
No.
I don't know. Zombie uses the same characters again, like the same actors again. He likes that.
That's his thing. This is like he's like the horror Adam Sandler. He uses the same group.
The horror. That's how you got it.
Or Quentin Tarantino.
Or Quentin Tarantino, or Marty Scorsese,
I know,
or just about any director.
You're right. It's true. A lot of directors do, and that makes sense.
Every fucking director, you fucking skunk. Only certain directors do. You named like pretty much all of them.
Yeah, we named the 4.
Yeah, this fucking guy. But I will say, people hate you. This is a criticism, but the movie is a little long for its own good, and probably some of that comes from that really endurance test torture scene. Yes, it's broken up by comedy, but some of it could have been chiseled out. I don't know what, because they do break it up with the development of William Forsythe trying to track them down and everything, and there's some great stuff, as we mentioned, but something could have been maybe trimmed a bit.
It's all the stuff in the hotel and everything to do with that. You chisel out 15 minutes of that. It becomes an hour and 30-minute movie, and it's perfect, and you can't take anything away from Forsythe because John Wydell's character is perfect. He starts out as like this straight up good guy cop who just wants to bring these guys to justice, and slowly just becomes unraveled and becomes just as bad as these three, that by the end, the way it plays out, you don't know who you're cheering for at the end. Yeah, you're happy he's avenging his brother's death. It makes perfect sense. I love when he kills Mama Firefly, but by the end, when he's choking Baby out, I'm torn. I'm kind of excited that Tiny shows up. I'm kind of upset that the police aren't aware that there's a Tiny out there somewhere.
Well,
Right?
He
Yeah,
likes
I
to
don't
hide.
get
He likes to.
In
that. Do you
plain
guys think
sight.
that would look hide in plain sight? Yes. I think that you think they did that on purpose to make him look like Sackhead Jason? Because he totally has the same look from Sackhead Jason Part 2.
Yeah.
He has the sack, the suspenders, the fuck, everything is just like it. I always thought they did it
Plaid
on
shirt.
purpose. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Telling you.
But no, it's good. It's good stuff. Like, I mean, this is my favorite Rob Zombie film. I think this is arguably his best film. And I know there's a lot of people that hate it, but again, it's arguably his best.
Everyone says that it's his best, it's his favorite. I can't. I bet you can ask fucking everybody you know. Put up a poll in the thing, and fucking it'll be like 90 percentile fucking Devil's Rejects.
It's just a complete story. I mean, it just goes full circle and kind of wraps up just perfectly.
It's a standalone film, but yet still works as part of the story.
True. And I think what you're saying earlier about Forsythe's character, I think they did that so it makes us cheer them on in the last act. So now we side with these despicable characters. And we're kind of sad in that epic fucking final, the car ride. You know what I mean?
And the car ride, honestly, like, again, a movie I've probably seen 3 or 4 times. I got goosebumps this time. Maybe it's because Sid Haig just passed away, but I thought this was just like such a great homage to like this character that he played. And I know he's only in 3 from Hell for like 2 minutes because he was really sick at the time. But man, I just thought this was a perfect ending to the movie. Freebird or not, but it's a perfect ending.
It's great. The Freebird is great.
I love the Freebird, but I'm saying you take that out, it's still a great ending.
I agree, but the music fits so perfectly.
Oh, it does, but some people will say, oh, you only like that movie because it's such a great song. No, it's a perfect ending for these characters to just be like, fuck you, we're going out in a blaze of glory because we're fucked and we don't give a fuck.
I was never even a fan of that song until this movie. I'll tell you what, the song that really made it for me was Midnight Rider.
Midnight Rider, yeah.
Credits, yeah, that we didn't mention that. The opening credit sequence of House of a Thousand Corpses is brilliant, but also this for 2 different reasons. When the credits are rolling and how they're doing it, it's so good.
I like this opening better with the clippings and everything, and the that type of stuff. I love it. I don't know. This is more my type of film. Little less torture in the middle, but this is. I mean, you know me. I don't know. I just need more of a complete story. Dialogue-driven beginning, middle, end, and this had it all for me.
You get that here. And again, he interjects those clips of little happy moments of their lives when they're being shot down there, too. Like, it becomes a Rob Zombieism as well. But, again, we talked about the length, and then, of course, he uses not the whole song, but a good chunk of that song.
Seems like it, yeah.
Bringing it up. And I do admit, when it cuts out to hear the skidding and the gunshots, it's kind of jarring. It does work for it, but I kind of wish there was a better sound transition there. A nitpick. Very bit of a nitpick, but when it kicks out of Freebird to do the gunshots, and then it ends, and then it goes into the final credits.
And that other song comes on, though?
Yeah,
Something about
the other
that
song's
song.
great. I just feel, I wish the transition was a little cleaner. But maybe that's what he wanted. He wanted to take you out of that moment, kind of just disrupt you from it. So in that regard, it works.
Because you feel like it's a relaxing moment listening to Freebird, and then all of a sudden it's jarring. It's like fuck. Like it's not supposed to be this fun, joyful scene.
It's great. I love everything about it. I love the after with the credit sequence and that song they play. I don't even know what that song is, but I love it. That whole thing is tremendous. Again, the horror is all in the middle. Christian, I'm going to pose you a question because you're a big Star Wars fan like me. Yeah. Do you see the connection in this movie to Empire Strikes Back? Because to me, it's always been very obvious from fucking the first time I saw it.
Well, other than the deadbeat the downer ending.
Nothing to do with that. Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh God. Okay.
Harrison Ford played the chicken guy.
Speaking of the chicken,
are you a chicken fucker?
You weren't thinking about fucking these chickens. You were thinking about fucking these chickens, are you? He says, he's like, if you want a good time, you take one of these chickens and you cut the chicken's head off. You stick your dick in that chicken and go, ah! It doesn't make sense though because he's saying, I don't condone chicken fucking, but then he tells you how to do it. It's great. But the best line of the entire movie.
It's the sweet pea of part 2. It's the sweet pea.
I want to know why this is the Empire Strikes Back with fucking chicken fucking.
Okay, hold on. first and foremost, and then I'll get to the other thing after. This is why it's Empire Strikes Back. The opening scene, not the opening scene, when we are first introduced to Charlie, when the Devil's, not when we are, but when they get to Charlie, when the Devil's Rejects meet them, and they do that thing in the beginning, that's just like fucking Lando and Hondo in Empire Strikes Back. Exactly. They pretend, why, you no good. And do this. Okay?
Yeah.
It's great. And then on top of it, the same thing happens later. He ends up selling them out. Instead of him selling them out to Vader, he sells them out to...
Holy fuck, how did I not see this? Yeah.
I always thought that.
And then comes back to save the day.
Yeah, he does try to redeem himself. He does try to redeem
100%.
himself.
Empire Strikes Back. It goes right along with it. Isn't that some crazy shit?
That is some crazy Mark Twain shit.
And I think they did it on purpose because they talked about Star Wars in this movie, and they had the whole Princess Leia shit when she dressed up. Yeah. I want to fuck Princess Leia, and then Berryman's like, "Oh, they're droids, sir." You know what I mean?
You heard what he said to me, boss.
That's the best line in the movie. I was just trying to get to that earlier when I was rambling, but. Real quick, when all that shit happens, and he says, that boy looks sexually frustrated. He looks like he might fuck chickens. So when he gets all mad, he goes, and then he just goes like this. He goes, chickens. He just says chickens.
I love Michael Berryman.
Chickens. And the way he says it, it's great. You're the chicken fucker, he says. Oh, he's great. Oh, there's so much fun, this movie. It really is. It's a party. And then when they get to the thing and they do all the party. But that's where I'm going to disagree, like you said. To me, even though I don't like what happens with Otis and it goes a little too far, and because they really make you feel for Banjo or for Sullivan, because that's his wife. And he stands up and he wants to knock this motherfucker out. If someone did that to my wife, I can't imagine. You know what I mean? And he's like, you don't want to see that done to your wife, and you want to fucking go over there and wring the guy's neck, and you can't because then he's going to shoot you both dead. And that's heavy shit. But do I want them to take it out? I don't know. But that is the horror of the movie. If you don't have that, you can't say this is a horror movie, because otherwise nothing happens. They escape in the beginning. If you cut that out, let's just say they escaped and they went right to Charlie's and then they partied there for half a night and then got their fucking asses kicked. How is that a horror movie? You know what I mean?
This is much more psychological horror, because even when John has them back at the house, he's torturing them. He's becoming psychologically stapling pictures to them and showing baby pictures of Mama Firefly dead. So it's a reverse. Oh. It's the role reversal, and and then he lets baby loose, which is exactly the way she hunted Mary in the house, and it's really well done in that respect.
And it's funny because he says, "I smell rabbit," and that's what she was doing. Run, rabbit, run. Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. And how about the party? when they're partying. This happened to me in real life. That's why it's funny. That part when Captain Spaulding is partying.
I like my cocaine more.
Right, that. I love you, brother. You got a nose like a vacuum, but I love my cocaine more. Right? Which is great. But then he leaves. And that's when fucking, what's his name comes in. When
Charlie comes in.
Wydell Piggy.
Oh, Wydell.
Yeah, when Wydell Piggy comes in and he confronts Spaulding, who all of a sudden sits up and he's like, my brother, and he thinks it's gonna be Charlie coming back, and it's him. And then Wydell talks shit to him, and what does Spaulding do? He takes a hit of his joint first, and then he starts talking to him. And the same exact thing happened to me. And when I watched that scene, now my brother's seen this movie many times with me, but I sent him a text as I was watching the thing, and I said, what does this remind you of? And I'll even show it to you just so I can get into the story. So, oops, sorry. That's the scene. But then I sent it to him, and I go, what does this remind you of? And then he says right there, he says two things. One says, oh my God, you scared the shit out of me, because that's one story that happened to me. And then he says, or the Jim Bull situation. And I was talking about the Jim Bull situation. One time, my brother and I were fucking partying. We had people over the house drinking, smoking, the whole nine. And we went out on our front lawn because it was wintertime, or summertime, excuse me. And this kid, for no reason, was coming from some other party down the street, and he was walking, and he was drunk. And he started picking a fight with us just for no reason. He started firing insults at us and this and that. And I'm high. I'm a fucking lover, not a fighter. So I'm just trying to chill. So he's saying all this shit to me. And I literally, he says something. I think he asked me a question or he says something insulting. And I literally went just like this. And I had a joint. And I went like this, as if to tell him, hold on a minute. I hold up my finger and I went, and I exhaled and I went back to the conversation. Oh, it was great. We still talk about it. And then a beat down happened, but that was a whole other story. But anyway, so every time I see that,
then the fighter part came out. And the lover went to fucking. The lover part went to sleep.
Well, maybe Dave's the one who caught the beat down.
I did everything I could. I even stop, leave it, stop pushing it. And then the motherfucker went too far, and me and my brother went to town on him. And then
situation took over.
There was more.
We went to town on that ass.
Yeah, and there's another story when he
cut his head off and
we call him the gym ball. You gotta fill
and then
that
there was
ball up,
another
boy.
story. I was in the backyard once at my house.
Jesus.
A bunch of us in the backyard on a night. I want to tell you the other story about you scared the shit out of me because that's what he thought it might have been. And I was. I'm in the backyard, we're all partying, and I'm fucking getting high and shit. And in the downstairs, you could see it from the street, but I had like fucking strobe lights and shit going on in our living room in the basement and shit like that because there was a big old party. So anyway, but at this point, we're in the backyard because we're smoking. So I'm back there getting high, and all of a sudden, the gate opens up because we have a wooden gate at my mom's house, and the gate opens up, and I turn around and I'm taking a hit from a joint, and there's a female cop there. And I said, I just said what was on my mind. I didn't mean to, but you walked in. I said, and I jumped. I said, oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. Literally, as I was smoking a joint. Anyway, sorry.
That's it. Nothing else happened.
Yeah, that's what his. Oh no, she didn't. She just said shut off the fucking disco balls and lower the music a little bit. She didn't even say anything about the weed, and then we just we
scared the fucking shit.
I was like, oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. As the joint was in my fucking hand, I just was dragging it. It was amazing.
That's funny.
Anyway, yeah. Chickens. That's it. I sidetracked this.
Are we supposed to assume that Tiny dies when he goes back into the house? I know they say they'll come back for him, but is he just basically like going out that way?
That's what I think. He's killing himself. Because what else is going to happen? I don't think he's the kind of guy that can fucking travel across the country and go on the run. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, which is sad because it's his final movie. And that's every time I watch this, I think about that. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, they even give the tribute to him at the end.
Yeah. But that's what I always thought, that he was just going into the burning house and he was just going to happen,
Because he says to him, like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, we'll come back for you. It almost feels like a line just to put him at ease, even though he knows they're not coming back.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. See, it makes you feel sad for these people.
Yeah, I felt way more emotions in this film than I did in House. And I know maybe that's, I know they're completely different, but that always makes me enjoy a film more when it challenges my emotions. You're playing with my emotions, Smokey.
And so what did that effect have on your final rating of the film?
8.5 out of 10.
What?
Significantly higher than House.
8.5 out of 10.
I'm shocked.
You thought it was going to be even higher?
I'm shocked because I'm 9 out of 10. I came in even higher. Yeah.
I actually was at 9 out of 10, but at one point, but just the torches. I just wish that would have been trimmed a little bit. Or, something needed to break that up. It was too painful.
Well, it is, like Dave said, it's the horror part of the movie. I'm 9.5. My favorite.
Ooh.
Yeah. My favorite zombie film. I really dug this from the second I watched it. I had, even when upon first view, I didn't have he went a different route with this. I was right on board. Only by revisiting House of a Thousand Corpses so many times and hearing you talk about it tonight, Dave, would I've been like, yeah, it would have been interesting to see where he could have gone with that whole aesthetic, but ultimately I like the route they went.
Yeah, it makes sense. They're on the run. What else could they do? If they weren't going to stay at the same house and do the same thing, that's what's good about this movie. This is them in their natural, it's serious people in a different element because now they're on the run. It's different. The only time we see them relax is when they get to Charlie's. And then, then we get 15 minutes of them fucking drinking and drugs and debauchery and everything else, which is fine because you still get some of that fun. Because other than that, there's zero fun in this movie.
What's that Stonefoot rooster in a fuck farm comment?
Oh, you standing here like stone foot roosters in a fuck farm. That's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold in this.
There is great dialogue, man. Both of the first two movies are just fucking loaded with great dialogue. They really are. Lots of fun. It's a fun movie, even though it's not really. Just the dialogue for anything that Spaulding says, anything that, Spaulding or Otis says is funny. I mean, pretty much, except for like the torture scene. But I mean, everything else, lots of fun though. It's weird to say it's lots of fun, but.
Oh, it's a horror film, and it delivers on that kind of vicious aspect. Probably the most vicious. Although you could argue that Three from Hell could take that. I don't think you guys will argue that, but I might try arguing it.
Could argue that it's shit on my childhood, even though I was 23 and 25 when the others came out.
You sound like a Star Wars fanboy. George Lucas ruined my childhood with the prequels, and now Disney's ruining everybody else's childhood. I tell those people to go fuck themselves.
I
agree.
Fuck them all.
Fuck them all is right. And the thing, I will say this though, before we even get to Three from Hell. Now when I watch Devil's Rejects, because this is the first time I've seen it since Three from Hell, as I'm watching the final scene, it doesn't have the impact anymore because it's like they shit on it by making Three from Hell. Like before, it was a coup de grace, it was a fucking swan song to their lives. Not like I talk about like Halloween H2O. You know what I mean? And how they made Resurrection, and that shits on the amazing ending of H2O. Maybe not to that extreme, because, I don't know, I'm not as insulted by it, by Three from Hell, as I am Resurrection, but...
Well, you almost can't, because there's a sequel. It's about them. People knew they were coming back. I'm glad they just kind of went the straightforward route, and they lived. And they kind of explain it away. Whether you buy it or not is entirely up to your enjoyment of the film.
Yeah, they each took 20 bullets and shotgun wounds, yet they have no scars in this film. And
they do everything a film needs to do to sell you on it. Whether you buy it or not is up to you. They say
I ain't buying what you're selling.
Yeah, and
you could gift wrap a turd all nice to put it in a Vinegar Syndrome nice steelbook case. It's still a turd.
Yeah.
It's still a day one buy.
This is the spookiest for you of the series. Listen,
I
was a 7 out of 10 the first time I watched it,
and
my enjoyment went up.
Oh my god!
I think you are the Rob Zombie fanboy of the group. I love them all. I think.
Jesus!
I told you I was going to be the. I don't understand why people hate this movie. Other than if you can't buy the explanation of going, are we going to introduce it or am I just going to rate?
I'll introduce it, but it's hard to even believe that I can understand the words that you're saying with his cock so deep in your mouth.
Rob, do you mind?
Yeah. All right, Three from Hell, Rob Zombie. After barely surviving a brutal police shootout, the demented Firefly clan unleash a whole new wave of murder, madness, and mayhem.
Here's something. This is what fucking confused me right away. Their first movie took place in Halloween 1978.
Yes.
They showed, that for a fact. Now, this movie, Three from Hell, says that they were apprehended May 23rd, 1978, which would be impossible. Because, number one, May is before October, so those murders didn't even happen yet.
No, House happened in 77. Yeah. House was 77, and May of 78 was Devils.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 77? Why? I always thought 78 because of the Halloween thing. The Halloween.
Halloween Eve 77. I looked this up because that was confusing me too. Yeah.
So at least we know now. That's good then. And then that righted or wrong because I was thinking, well, that's fucked up. And then I'm thinking, so the first movie was October 31st, 1977. And then this is November, December, January. This is whatever, 7 months later, whatever the fuck it is being May. It's weird that at the beginning of Rejects, they showed him pulling the girl from the night before, though. Wasn't it Mary or one of the other ones, whichever one it was? You know what I'm talking about? Remember when they showed the thing in the paper? They showed the picture in the newspaper of the dead girl, and then they show, and it flashes, it dissolves into Tiny pulling that dead girl.
Reveal the title, right? Three from Hell? Isn't that what
No.
I'm talking about Devil's Rejects.
Yes, the opening of Devil's Reject when Tiny is dressed in the sack and he's pulling the girl on the ground. You know what I'm talking about? The way it opens?
So am I wrong? Is that what it reveals the Devil's Rejects title? They're all blended together because I watch Boom, Boom, Boom. But
no, they don't show the Devil's Rejects title until the until later when they're playing Midnight.
That's an interesting thing. You think it's just a different girl, or you think it's just like a kind of like a flashback?
I don't know now. See, I always took it as this is the next day or a couple of days later from the events of House of 1,000 Corpses. But now they're saying that it has to be 7-8 months later. Okay.
It takes place over a 3-day period. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: the house in Devil's Rejects, when they go in there in the beginning and they had that big gunfight and everything else, is that the same house from House of 1,000 Corpses, or is it different?
Oh, well, are you saying did they use the same set or the same?
I'm
location?
asking you guys, what's your perception when you watch the movie? Did you always thought that it was the next day and it was the same house, or it's a complete?
I don't think it was the next day because they said that they've been tracking them for a while. But I thought it was supposed to be the same house. However, it looks more open and less densely forested, as like you kind of get the feeling that the first house, or in House of 1,000 Corpses, it seems to be surrounded by trees more. I feel
7 months is plenty of time to knock down some trees and do some heavy landscaping.
I guess so.
Maybe that's what Tiny was dragging. Maybe he was dragging like kindling. It was a log. It wasn't even a dead body.
Because the cheerleaders were there in the next one too. I think he was sleeping next to one of them.
Yeah, he had the one. Wrong. Yeah, he did. He had the one next to her when he gets out of bed. He like pushes her aside. He gets out of bed and runs down the stairs. Shit, fuck.
Yeah, but then he says he fucked her for months too. So remember he said that he's talking about that girl. Sure, he goes, shit, anybody fuck her. He said, and he goes, but now she's not so fuckable. And then he laughed. He says something I don't know about that or so. Oh, that's great. But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take it back to Rejects. I was just that opening scene. This date's confused me for a second, but that's okay.
So why?
So how does Trejo?
Why do you guys don't like this? What's the hate on for this movie?
I don't hate it. It's just kind of there. There's just nothing special. It's just it's. But the third act is just nothing happening. It's just them sitting in Mexico, and it's like a what do you call it? It's like a bad version. Not a bad. I don't want to say it's bad. It's like a Devil's Rejects
light.
Knockoff or light. Well,
it is. It is, but that's why I like it because it carries the same sort of vibe. It's not as good. It's not.
They try to carry the same vibe, and it's embarrassing.
It's
that,
not. The whole opening's great with the interjection of the news flashes and how they work Sig Haydn because you could tell he's ill in this.
Yeah.
So he only gets a few minutes of screen time, but it's pretty
sad.
Damn good. But it is sad too.
Give my love to my friends and family. Are his last words? Get the fuck out of here!
Well, you know what I think that is? I
think that's the media not playing his real last message.
No. I think that's Rob Zombie, not so subtle tribute to the man Sid Haig. That's like something that you know what I mean.
No,
that's
a real tribute to Sid Haig would have been a Captain Spaulding line or something else. No, I get it. I respect it. Look, rest in peace to Sid Haig, but I think Sid Haig would have been like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Maybe you're right.
16 years later, giving my love to my friends and family. It's 10 years later now. It's 1988. Everybody's still dressed like it's the 70s. And I don't know. Everything with Baby
I agree.
Is so annoying.
Oh, no. I love what happens with her.
Her 158 violations, her interactions with that annoying Greta guard.
Wow, D.
This is all the good shit.
Snitches get stitches. The showdown with the two inmates, and she's the one who stabs them both to death.
Fantastic.
A cheap cutaway move, and then they show back the two dead bodies. No way it happened. Show it happen then. Show it happen. It's a cheap move.
Then you don't get the reveal.
The reveal's what's good about
right.
that.
No,
exactly.
the reveal of that is absolutely atrocious. It's like, are you kidding me?
You
saw the one. No, first of all, you saw the one girl grab Baby. Baby has shackles on her hands. You saw the one girl grab her, and the other one start to stab, and then all of a sudden, Baby's got no marks on her. At one point, Baby has scratches on her forehead because they're stitching her up in the warden's office. When she gets out, and she's sitting partying with Otis and Coltrane, the wounds are gone. They keep appearing and disappearing.
Bad filmmaking in that point.
Terrible filmmaking.
Well, I think it was quick filmmaking. I mean, this is doesn't have the budget or the backing that the other films had. But that's okay. And again, there are going to be little glitches. But I mean, that's continuity errors and whatnot. But okay, again, I'm not going to say I haven't shut on other movies for those points, but there's usually because I don't like other aspects of the movie as well. This one, I thought they did a great job with her character, Baby, specifically in combining the Devil's Rejects with a little bit of House. They kind of brought that laugh back, just a little bit, a little taste of it. And
the laugh was the best part because she mumbled all her dialogue in this film. Could not understand one word she said this whole movie.
I didn't have that problem.
I didn't have that problem either.
And they almost desexualize her. Like, she always wants to have fun.
Yeah.
But her fun is murder.
Right.
And it kind of reenacts her meeting dude from the folk band in Devil's Rejects at the pop machine in this one, but it just ends badly. And then that's one of the best parts. Is like, fuck, and they have to get up and go. They're ready to hang out there all night. Like, there's some good stuff, and like we haven't even brought out like the Richard Brake character. I mean, he's fantastic in this movie.
I like him.
Guy. He's good.
I like him, but I miss Captain Spaulding. I couldn't help it.
That's the thing. He's the replacement for Spaulding, and he's good. He's a good actor. I do agree with you on that, but
he's too much like Otis.
Exactly.
Again, I like the part. Yeah. I like Richard Brake. I like what comes out of his mouth. I like the character, but it doesn't have the dichatomy. It doesn't have the three difference of the real Devil's Rejects of fucking Spaulding.
They said dichotomy.
Well, you can tell he's been on the Watsy show. He's been spending too much time with Watsy. Let me get my fucking thesaurus out of here for a second.
The Watsy word of the day. He's got a little calendar.
Yeah, you don't have that. You have
turn
three
the dial,
radically different characters, and they're these two alike. I'll say this. See, I think you like it beginning to end. I enjoy the first half. I enjoy everything until, I guess, by the time they get to Mexico, it all goes downhill for me. I do like the beginning, though. It seems like B doesn't like it at all. I like the beginning. I don't understand.
My favorite part of it, and I'm not saying it's not terrible because it gets absolutely goofy and batshit, and I have a lot of complaints about it, but in terms of our three main characters, I like the way they're portrayed the best in Mexico.
I love Mexico. I just don't know how they got there. That's my only question.
It's silly.
They just get there.
It's silly. I don't like that either.
That's the only accurate part about this movie is they actually got the set of Mexico to look like the real Mexico. It looks like a real shithole on this film the way it is in real life.
Mexico sucks. That's the best line.
Dude, it really does. It really does.
Mexico sucks.
How about when she has the idea? How about when she has the idea where we're going to go and she walks in, she has the hat and the thing, and she's like, I know, we're going to go to Mexico. And then one of them says, well, none of us speak Mexican, they said.
Yeah, Otis
My wife heard that. My wife heard that. And I said, did you hear that? Because that's a joke in my household because my daughter and I have said that in the past before. Funny thing is my daughter takes Spanish now. She's an A student at it. She's great at it. And my wife she's fluent in Spanish. Wait, so she does it all.
Is this going to get in trouble with Jerry Cortez again?
Well, I'm trying to mend fences with Jerry Cortez because it's all a joke. Because that's what I'm saying. So I bust my wife's balls now and I say, I don't speak Mexican or something like that. And that's why I said that joke about Spanish and Mexican, whatever the hell it was, because I actually harass my wife when I do that just to get her a goat. You know what I mean? It's fun.
It would have been better if Coltrane had delivered that line because Otis, like I said, look, I think Spaulding was always the brains behind it all, but Otis does come off as an intelligent guy, even though he's always rambling and stuff, but it's sort of like biblical and social commentary he's rambling. So for him to make a comment like that is like, it seems like it's not him. Like it's the stupid one. Like it should be someone else saying it.
Yeah, but anybody could say that. It's not, I don't know.
But it didn't come off as a joke. It came off genuine. It was funny to us, the audience, but.
I like how they brought Danny Trejo back. That's what we
Yes, but that's a problem. How the fuck does Rondo not recognize?
That's a huge problem, and they waste an opportunity here because the Unholy 2 was such an awesome part of Devil's Rejects that they could have actually done a film just about the Unholy 2, and then
that would have been cool.
They do this whole chain gang thing, and he doesn't recognize him is absolutely stupid.
How does he not recognize him? That's what bothered me.
They're the ones who capture them for Wydell to bring back to the torture.
There's a bit of, I guess, convenience there to get to the part of him. He probably could have easily just said, yeah, I recognize you. What difference would it have made at that point? Because he gets killed, and it still sets the guy up for the revenge morning in Mexico. So at the end of the day, that is weird. But that was a decision made, which is even weirder because, I mean, Rob Zombie, again, the line of the difference of whether you knew him or not really is inconsequential. Sorry. I can't. I should have been on the Watsy show.
Dichotomy.
Yeah,
Just say dichotomy.
Yeah. In the big picture, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter based on his fate. It doesn't really matter.
Dude, and this has the worst face skinning. When they show
I love it because we finally see it.
When they see
the aftermath.
No, it looked terrible. Her face makeup looked awful.
Well, I thought it was fine.
I think it looked atrocious.
Oh, I liked it. I was okay with it. I mean, it wasn't top notch Tom Savini, but it looked fine to me.
I don't know. I'm not a big. I love Tom Savini, but when what's his face? Comes back in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's a little goofy.
Right, and he's all bloody and dark, so you can't see it as much. But this is in the forefront.
LG?
LG. Oh, LG. Yeah.
Poor LG. Rest in peace, LG.
If you see the uncut version, if you see the R-rated version, you'll have no clue what I'm talking about. But there is a cut version out there. I don't think it exists anymore, but there's a cut version, and he doesn't come back. You never see LG again.
Or victim of the poltergeist.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Or victim.
I had it on VHS, and I bought it, and when I brought it home, I'm like, what the fuck? I remember just bunch of scenes just taken right out of the movie. But anyway.
Wow, really?
Yeah. He was murdered, LG.
Really?
Life?
Yeah, he was in Poltergeist. He was part of that Poltergeist curse.
What was he in Poltergeist?
He was the one who was at the window with the coffee, and he was flirting with the daughter.
Oh, that's
she
right.
Gave him the finger, yeah.
Yeah, Bluto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, great, Mrs. Freeling. Yeah, I forgot that was him. Yeah, no shit. Wow,
LG.
that's fucking
LG.
LG.
The whole setup for all of them is great. I mean, yes, Sigwade was obviously in bad health, so they worked him in as best as they could. I understand. I mean, yes, the movie would have been better had he been in the full film, but he wasn't. So what they did, I thought was a nice tribute. He gets executed, they move on. But him finding the two hunters, or the two hunters finding them, and then how they turn it around, I thought was great.
I agree. I like that too. But then there's just dumb decisions. Like
I can't describe anything as great. Go ahead, Dave.
How come when the guy got loose? How come when the warden got loose? How come when they said go to the prison and let baby out? Why the fuck wouldn't he just come back with a SWAT team? How stupid! Why would he listen to fucking?
It was the most ridiculous thing.
It's stupid as fuck.
It was very progressive for the time. Did you notice him and his friend? Two interracial couples. That was nice.
Yeah, two of them. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, both of them. At first, I was watching with my buddy last night. I'm like, wait, that's his way? Wow,
right.
Very progressive for 1988. Awesome.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a stupid move to.
How fucking? It's so stupid.
Yeah, he was cooked up.
Dude, why?
Yeah, I did not like the Ward. I did not like the Ward character.
Why? I understand. It's you're asked to friggin' not
mouth.
Huh?
Mouth. You said you're already asked to.
Oh no! Oh,
yeah. I thought you said asked to.
They're already asking you.
Oh, asking you.
Way. Yeah, they're already asking you to suspend disbelief on the fact that they all survived the attack. And then we're supposed to believe that Rondo doesn't recognize Otis. And now we're expected to believe that friggin' this guy, this warden, is just going to go out of the house into the free world and not do anything and be subservient to Otis for no good reason while he's in his house. And we're going to, and we see an escape. And we're accepting that escape. And I don't even hate that escape. It's fine. But he's asking us to accept way too many just dumb things.
It is dumb. And that's the scene where I'm talking about where they kill everyone. They kill all the hostages. And the one wife is naked and she's running down the street and baby chases after her. And she chases after her like this. She's got a knife in her hand, but she's chasing her like this and it's in slow motion and it's so goofy.
Oh, I love it. I love that whole sequence.
That's fun, though. I don't mind that.
She stabs her violently. Yes.
It's the same thing as the Mary kill, only not as cool. And I'm not even saying that the Mary kill is that great.
Cool.
The best part of that scene is the old lady waving. Yeah, the old lady waving with the oxygen tank. Yeah, that was funny. You come in like, I'm pretty sure we've been made. We got to get going.
It is like callbacks to the other films, but a lot of sequels do this. It still takes it into a different direction, but I thought there was enough callbacks. Like they make a callback to House of a Thousand Corpses. When he's driving, he's like, I'm the one doing all the nighttime driving. He's like, well, it wouldn't matter if I didn't have like bad eyes or whatever. But it's a callback to the two dudes driving in the first film.
Exactly.
House of a Thousand
Correct.
Corpses. I thought there was some good like parallels. Yeah, and again, for it being a follow-up film, it's not perfect. It is a step down from both other movies, but I liked it the first time I saw it, and I enjoyed it much more. There's some stupid ideas, but again, if your wife's in trouble, and you're right, you go back with a SWAT team, the first thing they would have done is probably killed the wives or at least used them as hostages and tried to get the hell out of Dodge.
But at least you're going to kill these bad guys.
Nothing was going to end well there. That's why I said, why did he do it? He should have known he was just going to get killed.
They had a house of 1,000 corpses. Did he think he was going to be the first one to avoid being a corpse if he went back there? This idiot.
By the way, just as a quick callback to House of 1,000 Corpses, I found this while we were talking. Why did it take so long to release? According to a report from Screen Rant, Zombie shot House of 1,000 Corpses way back in 2000, but was met with resistance from Universal, who were concerned that the film would get an NC-17 rating, and so they never released it. Mm-hmm. This is all in spite of the fact that they knew exactly what type of movie they were going to be distributing. So that does play into the fact that they probably made it, put a trailer out there, or a teaser that we saw, Dave, but then it didn't come out for a few more years. So,
you know what?
Bingo,
Rob Zombie.
Bango.
Nice, very good. Rob Zombie was on a podcast a few months ago. Who's that guy that does all those great podcasts? The guy from UFC. What's his name? Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe Rogan, he was a guest star on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he told the whole story about that. And of course, I forgot, but I recommend, and believe me, if I'm going to recommend you listen to a first year podcast, it's worth listening to. So, and go listen to the interview, Joe Rogan and Rob Zombie. It's really good stuff. Lots of cool information on Rob Zombie and why he does some things in his movies. And it's true, he was raised in that carnival stuff. That's the kind of stuff he was around, the way people act, and like he sees, that is the way he sees a lot of people. You know what I mean? That's what he grew up with. But anyway, I'm going off.
Just as a side back, I mean, again, it all encompasses this trilogy, but I was on board. Yeah, a couple of dumb things, but I didn't think it was any worse than any of the other movies. It's just, you're right. He could have come back he could have brought police back.
There could have been a little bit more. There could have been a little bit more glamour at the annual knife throwing contest. I mean, there were only 2 competitors in the Mexican annual knife throwing contest. And
how about that though? That's Halloween again. It's another callback to part 1.
Yeah,
it's Halloween in Mexico.
But here's how shitty Mexico is. Even the dog has 3 legs. They even have shitty dogs in Mexico.
They all talk about wanting to get the fuck out of there and hoping that they're going to I'm going to put you in the movies.
I love the dog. I love that he shows up at the end. I hope he goes with them.
Take me to Hollywood? Yeah, something like that.
Show me your salami, motherfucker. That's for you, Watson.
He doesn't like that line?
He loves that line. He says it all the time, and yeah, it's his thing. Yep.
How's that working for him on Grindr?
Aquarius and the Black Satans, they happen to show up in Mexico. Mexico's not tiny, but they're right up at the hill, and immediately, oh, here they are. Aquarius, they're here, the people who killed your father. It's right. Very convenient.
It's convenient, but Carlos is a good character, man. He's just looking out for Carlos.
Yeah.
Because it's Carlos. You know how many motherfuckers I know named Carlos?
Yeah, it was great seeing him too. That guy's a good actor.
Yeah, I like that guy. The Black Satans, of course, they wear white suits.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
I knew Dave wouldn't like the end because it's all gunplay.
It's all CGI gunplay
and
too. And baby, of course, feels no need to pick up just use a bow and arrow. Don't pick up. That's why I referenced a bow and arrow earlier, because I was thinking of this turd. And even when they're dropping like flies and dropping machine guns, she's just like, I'm gonna do that. The best part though is when they're tied up and he's like, I think we're fucked. I like that. Right. Breaks character, Coltrane.
Yeah. No, I think Baby was great. I like it because they even talk about it. And of course, 10 years in the freaking joint will do that. And they show that one scene when she's looking at that kitty dancing. You know what I mean? And then she gets sad.
Oh my God. I like that scene only because the kitty looked like Smudge the cat. You know, the meme?
Oh, is that what that thing's called?
That's what that meme's called. But that cat reminded me of Smudge. So I got to go laugh at it. Otherwise, I had no interest in it. My favorite character was Sebastian. I liked him. The little guy.
Oh, he's good too.
I really liked him. When he showed up, I really liked him in this.
And I like that little scene when Baby was talking to him, and she says that he reminds her of Tiny.
That's why I really liked it. It was like the first like emotional side of Baby you really saw. First like genuine connection that she had, where she didn't want to like torture and murder someone.
Well, then the conversation. Yeah. Then they talked about it later. Remember? She was talking about how she misses Sid Haig, and that almost felt like a real life thing. Like they were really talking about missing Sid. Like he had a great life and this and that, and he lived like nobody else. And they were talking about that. And then she was saying we're the only 2 left. I mean, that there was emotion there too.
No, and that it's good. Like I liked that. I liked the fact that guy's like, I'm a monster. Like he thinks of himself as a monster. And he says, my brother felt like that too, Tiny. And I like everything you just reiterated what you guys just said. I loved that part. I thought that added a little bit of another element to.
Why in the flashback is it just the three of them? Where are the rest of the brothers and the rest of the family? Why isn't Mama walking with them?
Written like again, every movie kind of reinvents itself. Did you stay to the end of the credits? At the very end, after the end of credits, it cuts back to Dr. Satan. You go, I'm still down here.
Cordell.
Yeah, Cordell.
That
would have been fantastic.
They were going to bring Dr. Satan back in Devil's Rejects at the cut scene. He was in the hospital and everything. It was crazy. And they just said, let's just take out the supernatural element altogether. But I kind of wish they would have kept it in because that could have explained better how they survived.
Well, maybe it'll be a fourth one. It's just Dr. Satan.
I wish they... Well, yeah, I guess. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing another one now if it was that. I mean, now that we have Richard Brake for a movie and his character, Foxy, Winslow, whatever, and get used to that. And I'm always down to see freaking Otis and Baby. That's fine. And like I said earlier, what I was starting to say is I love that Baby acts the way she does because 10 years will do that. And they announced it. He's like, nah, she's not the same and stuff like that. She's acting weird. At least they talk about how fucked up. And I like that conversation. He's like, oh, she's just excited to be out. That's what Foxy says. And he's like, no. He goes, you don't know. He goes, she's different, Yeah. And she was different. She did fucking, she went away and.
Yeah, and she mumbled.
Here's what made no sense. Can somebody on death row be up for parole?
I believe I don't know. So. I believe. You know what? I brought this up because I said, why are they having parole hearings? Because you could be sentenced to life, you could be sentenced to death, but then they also add that, without the possibility of parole. Like Charles Manson, I think, had parole. Charles Manson had parole hearings like every 10 years.
Well,
like they were just sort of.
Yeah. So then the answer
they were just sort of ceremonial. Obviously, he wasn't getting out.
But he wasn't on death row because they abolished the fucking the death penalty.
True. I don't know.
He was never executed. I don't know either.
Isn't it Willis who knows this stuff?
Willis knows this?
I feel like somebody once knew this stuff with like the laws and the prison systems.
Why did you think that Willis knew it?
Because I think Willis once answered a question for me like that.
Willis Wheeler?
I'm pretty sure it was Willis.
Wow. Okay, I'd be surprised, but I guess you never know. Maybe Willis knows something that I don't about.
You're surprised Willis knows.
I just don't see Willis as being a law student. That's all. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was a law question, and I don't know why. I really think it was Willis who answered it.
It's possible.
I have no idea. Could be making that completely up. It might have been a dream.
Yeah, I don't
know. The
dialogue's
not as good in this one, I will say. I know you alluded to when Brandon and I were talking earlier, and I don't know if you've already said it, Brandon, tonight, a lot of motherfuckers, a lot of fucker thrown in as well, but there's just not as many memorable lines. It's not as witty as the other movies.
That's what it is.
For sure.
When you're taken out of, the witty, funny, comical dialogue, you notice just motherfucker, and it's just like, all right, when are they gonna say something?
There's some good stuff, but it's just not on the it's not the caliber that we had in Devil's Rejects, and that's evident. So
it's a step up from 31, though. I'll say that.
Well, and again, I actually was a 31 apologist, so I actually enjoyed that too. So I am the Rob Zombie, the lover of the group.
Yeah,
I guess.
And Sebastian was the Nazi little guy in 31, right?
I couldn't stand that. Yes.
Oh, I hate 31. I'm just saying I like Sebastian in this.
No, I like him too. No, but what I was saying was in 31, it didn't seem like he had any. It's like he lost his filmmaking skills. He wasn't doing anything like that he was doing before. It seems like he got them back in this one. Like he tried. He was doing some things like he, not quite as good as Devil's Rejects or anything that came after, excluding 31, but it seemed like he was trying a little harder in this movie than he did in 31. 31 was like a movie that anyone could have made. Didn't really feel like a Rob Zombie movie. The characters did, but I mean, he didn't have his visionary style behind the camera. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying. I still like 31. I didn't feel like he lost it 100%. I just didn't think it was what we had been experiencing from Rob Zombie up to that point.
Right. Man,
but I didn't hate it. I'm not in a hate fest, or as Brandon does not like this one. I actually, like I said, I went up in my like for this. I love the stuff they did in Mexico with the Halloween theme and how it leads to their to the final showdown. Yes, there's convenience here. Otis makes
that funny line when he's drinking with the two women. He's like, I gotta get the taste of both of you out of my mouth.
Yeah,
with the whiskey.
Yeah.
Great.
He does deliver. He does deliver there with that line, and even though like the sword play is kind of ridiculous, I just kind of like the idea that they're fucked, and I like the way they take out Aquarius. It's fucking brutal, and it's
like burning him alive.
Yeah, that's something like Mexican cartels. You always hear a story about like Mexican cartels doing that shit. Well, putting you in rubber tires and then setting you on fire.
That's probably some of the best stuff there when they're just looking at them and goes, "There's always something that happens, like a little break. You'll see it in their eyes." It's like, "Is that it?"
Yeah.
No, that wasn't it. And then it happens again. He goes, "Oh, that's it." He's like, "Yeah, that was it. That was good. That was great, actually."
I like that too. And then he says, "Fuck you," and he says,
"They always say that."
Yeah.
That was a good. That was a great callback. And I like the way they just walked off and the dog joins them.
Yeah.
You see the three-legged dog run by.
I did. It probably went to Sherry. It's probably their dog, because they're big animal lovers, the two of them. So I wouldn't be surprised. I watched the making of for about 20 minutes.
They're such big animal lovers. Why did they have to remove his leg for the movie? Couldn't they just let it be a four-legged? Like I know
that dog is famous. That was the same dog that was on the Alice in Chains album cover.
Oh, is it?
No, was it? Yeah, the album that came out like 25 years ago.
I don't know Alice in Chains either. I know who they are, but I couldn't tell you an Alice in Chains song.
They had a three-legged dog on the cover of one of their albums. That's what I was thinking of.
Dave, you're the only three-legged dog I know here.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, me. Yeah, talking about Junior again. Huh? Watch out. Nice. So the thing is about Three from Hell, this is what sums it up. It's like Devil's Rejects light, but there's not one thing to me that's great in it. It's just okay. It's fine, but it ends up minimizing the amazing ending of Devil's Rejects to me. I don't hate it. I think it's a step up from 31. It's nice to see those characters on camera again. And the first 10 minutes I have genuine fun with, even though it's kind of bittersweet because we know that Sid's, it's his, he's gone now. Yeah. Right. But that stuff I actually was done really well. And by the time they get to the third act, there's a couple good things that happen in Mexico, but there's just no more horror. There's nothing. It's just them. It's like a pale imitation of the partying they did at Charlie's House of Pussy or whatever it was in Devil's Rejects, and the same thing happens again. So it's just like, again, Rob Zombie is doing something that's lazy filmmaking, and I
don't think it's lazy. I think it's just different, and he's not just caving in. And I respect him for the decision he made. I'm in the minority. All I see is hate, hate, hate. Dave,
I don't hate
you don't hate it. But no. I read most people are wasted time, whatever.
You know why, buddy?
Why?
Because people aren't like me. For whatever reason, they put something on a pedestal before seeing it. I went in expecting something mediocre at best because Rob Zombie really fell from grace with 31. So people think just because it was going to have these three actors in it that it was going to be on the level of the other movies. Where someone like me, a little bit more of a realist, I can't be disappointed because just like Otis says in Devil's Rejects, I set my standards low, so I'm never disappointed. And sometimes I do set my standards low. When this movie was coming out, you guys heard me say that. I was never excited about it. I was like, well, I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't understand why people went into that movie thinking that all of a sudden Rob Zombie had his mojo back. I just don't understand
I saw the trailer. Because I do watch trailers every now and then. I'm not on a no trailer watch, and the trailer was shit. If I do say so myself, I thought this trailer looked like garbage. So I was hoping it was going to be good because, as I think we could tell tonight, I seem to like all his movies. But I saw that trailer and I think it just nixed any expectations at being at a high level. So I just went in like I normally go and see anything, just kind of open-minded. And I was pleasantly surprised. But I said, upon rewatch, I enjoyed it even more.
I didn't watch the trailer for this one, so I went in open-minded and was pleasantly destroyed and thought it was a pile of hot garbage.
Wow. Is this going to make a list next show? That's my question.
So then what was your rating on this?
4 out of 10.
Oh, he fails it. Holy shit.
He fails it. Okay. I don't fail it. It's a 6.5 for me.
Wow. I was at a 7. I almost want to go up to an 8, but I'll be realistic. I'll do 7.5.
Jason Lloyd.
Good old Jason Lloyd.
I give it the old Jason Lloyd.
I don't like to put things on
JL.
a pedestal except pussy. I'm always putting that pussy on the pedestal.
Yeah. Maybe one time you should fuck it.
Show me your salami, motherfucker. That's funny, man.
Salami, all right,
man.
let me ask one question. If these characters do return, how would you like to see them wrapped up? Do you want to see them ultimately killed?
Yeah, I want to see them go into hell, and I want to see them be at Satan's, be a minion of Satan.
That's what I really thought this film was going to be. I was like, there's no way they survived that shootout on Devil's Reach. Like, this is going to be supernatural. It's going to be batshit. They're going to return to hell on like a mission from Satan, and it's just going to be batshit. That's what this should have been. But man, yeah,
I know.
And
I don't think they'll do it again, though.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is it.
I guess that's the other thing. Maybe people were thinking there was going to be some triumphant end. Sorry, I was getting some text from my daughter there. Some triumphant end here, like maybe to trump the big shootout that happened in the last one. Well, they did miraculously survive that last one. So I wasn't actually disappointed with the ending of them pretty much just wandering off into the sunset.
I wasn't either, because even though Aquarius's motivations are obviously to avenge his father, he's an evil motherfucker. I mean, he's head of a cartel. They're killing every innocent person around. So
yeah,
it almost,
they're the anti-heroes.
Yeah, it's almost the way they did it at the end of Devil's Rejects with Wydell. You like almost were like, I don't know who to cheer for here, but this was just even worse.
It was kind of a sudden ending too. They burn the guy, they do the thing, they just walk away. Credits roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seemed like, oh, okay, that was that. Okay, no, I'm not surprised. It was just that kind of a movie. I
feel like my rating is a result of this being part of a trilogy. I do think as a standalone film, it would probably be a little higher. I could say that, but you have to look at it as part of the trilogy.
I did, and that's where I stand.
Yeah, hey, that's okay. I'm thinking about the way part 1 ended. It was amazing. The way part 2 ended was amazing, and this was just like, okay. Yeah. That's that. They came back. They did some killings. A couple things happened, and okay. Nothing great. There's not one thing to me that I could say was great, where the other two movies are definitely great. You know what I mean? But whatever. I mean, my expectations were low to begin with, so like I said, it wasn't really a letdown for me. So
better than 31 for you, but not as good as the other two. And I'm saying it's not as good as the other two, but I'm surprisingly higher than majority of the people out there that
it's my third lowest ranked 2019 horror film.
Two movies you won't see on my lowest are Black Christmas and this. And I'm not saying Black Christmas is good. If you heard me on Fresh Cuts, I'll do a plug for that show. We talked about Black Christmas, and I was on it. I don't even say that it was a really good movie. I liked it. It was enjoyable. I don't have a hate on like so many people do. It's not great filmmaking, but I went and I enjoyed myself while watching it.
Right on. That's okay. That's all right. Well, I guess we can get out of here. Next show is the big one. The big one.
Big one.
Yes. It's been a strange year, I'll tell you that. And
Top 19 of 2019.
I'm going to be watching movies like a motherfucker the next freaking 2 weeks.
I keep adding to my list. I was down to like 9 films, and then somebody posts like, "Oh, check this one out." Like, okay, it's up to 10. Then I see this, 11. Okay, it's like, come on.
I just ignore those posts. And I watch what I want to watch.
I want to have a fair representation for 19 films. It'd be one thing if we did like top 10. Top 10, I'd be like, all right, you know what? I'm done. Got enough.
Well, I'll have the lowest out of everybody. We have Watson on there, and I think he's like, I know he always gets to that 100 range, doesn't he?
Yeah, close enough, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I just passed it.
Yeah, I won't be there.
I won't be there. No, I wanted it just to be 52. I'm probably going to end up at like closer to 60.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be right with you, Dave. I'm
good.
I was shocked when I started adding, like when I actually looked at my letterbox. I'm like, oh, I watched more than I thought. I'm currently at 45.
Nice.
And that doesn't include the 3 that I told you I started watching and fell asleep to.
3?
Wow.
You know what's crazy? On September 17th, that's 3 months and 5 days ago, I watched 2019 horror film number 16. 3 months and 5 days ago, and now I'm at 101. So in 3 months and 5 days, most of my watches came in the last 3 months. I really binge.
And another thing, Brandon, I don't know if you're doing this. I've decided I don't care if I couldn't get hold of a movie or see it, because, and I'm not talking if it was my choice and I didn't go to the theater, but if it was not available for me to see in Canada, I'm including it on my list for this year. I just said fuck it, I don't care. So there are movies that people might be like, that was released last year. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what
that's
your
fine. And
I
think I know what movie you're talking about.
What are you talking about? I'm gonna just say, what are they? Because I want to make sure.
And then the
Apocalypse, Double Date.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna watch them both for this year.
Well, Double Date I count for this year definitely because I didn't see it anywhere last year.
Right. I didn't see Anna anywhere either. So.
And it's definitely available this year. So.
And again, if I find that if I can argue that it's horror because there's a horrific elements that happen to it, like we were talking about tonight, you're saying there's the middle part of Devil's Rejects is the horror, and you're saying that there's not much horror, even there's a couple of sequences in this movie too, but overall the horror's light almost in the movies we're discussing tonight. Well, there's other movies that happened in 2019 that are on Shudder that have horrific elements to them, and I'm totally cool, and I'm putting them on my list.
I agree. There's so many borderline films that are thriller, even drama. But as long as I see something horrific in it, or even in the description, if I go on IMDb and it says action, crime, mystery, horror, that's enough for me. If someone says it's the horror, because I have some films. I have one film that's going to be very high on my list that I've recommended already. It's going to be really high on my list, and I don't know if people are going to necessarily see it as horror, but it's a great film, and I'm counting it, and we're doing 19 films, so fuck you. We could have a few borderline non-horrors in there if we're going to have at least 10 horror.
Right on. Do it. Has anybody seen Atlantics or no?
No, but somebody recommended it.
It's been getting some rumblings. It's listed as just like a love story, but I guess there's ghosts involved, so I want to see someone that I really know watch it and tell me if they think it's horror before I
think Brandon Young.
It's on Netflix.
I think Brandon Young spoke highly of it. I think it was
really?
him.
Atlantics.
Yeah.
Yep, Atlantics. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Canadian Netflix, but there it is. But yes, next show is going to be the big one. We'll have everything sorted out by then. Watson will be here. It's going to be a nice big show. Top 19 of 2019. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We love you all. We will see you then. Take care. Happy New Year, right? Is this coming out? I don't know when this is coming out. Either way.
This is going to come out like this week.
Yeah, so I hope you guys had a good holiday, and
it's probably still around the Christmas. Well, maybe because of Christmas or whatnot, it may be delayed just so people can celebrate
and Happy Hanukkah to me. It's the first night of Hanukkah.
Yeah,
that's
happy
right.
Hanukkah.
Absolutely.
Happy Hanukkah.
For sure, man.
Hanukkah.
How about that new Hanukkah movie coming out?
Oh man,
Jason Smith saw it already.
Did he? What did he say? It's a turd.
He said it wasn't. He said it was okay.
Okay,
well. It was okay.
How does Jason Smith might watch more than I do?
Yeah, well, that's why he's involved in our top 100.
Well, he called us out in that review. If you watch it on YouTube, he talks about how he was listening to our show and we were joking about there not being a Hanukkah-themed slasher film. And then he saw it. He goes, he swears right after that, he saw an advertisement for this movie. And he saw it and it was okay. The low-budget, micro-budget slasher film.
As usual, people are taking our stuff. We should just keep our mouth shut on the show about movies that we don't know.
We're going to be doing a silent podcast in the future.
Nice. Well, indeed. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody, once again, and thank you so much for listening.
Yep. See you next episode. Peace.